Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr Ibrahim bin Che Omar, Fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia dan Fellow Kanan Majlis Profesor Negara. Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Hadirin dimohon untuk terus kekal berdiri bagi menyanyikan lagu terbilang UMK. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr Ibrahim bin Che Omar, Fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia dan Fellow Kanan Majlis Profesor Negara. Yang berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr Arham bin Abdullah, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr Muhammad Najmi bin Masri, Pengarah Pusat Kecemerlangan dan Pembangunan Akademik, Dekan-Dekan, Wakil Fakulti, Pegawai Kanan Universiti Malaysia Kelantan serta hadirin sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Bagi memberkati majlis kita pada pagi ini, marilah kita sama-sama membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Amin, amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Jeruk menjadi pembuka selera. Dengan bismillah kita bermula. Semoga Allah berkati setiap bicara. Hadirin yang dimulakan, sebagai pembuka tirai agenda, majlis dimulakan dengan ucapan aluan. Untuk itu, majlis menjemput Yang berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr Arham bin Abdullah, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih saudari pengacara majlis. Siapa yang cakap tadi? Belakang. Okey. Alhamdulillah kita dapat berada di sini untuk satu program yang amat penting lah. Program Bicara Akademia Bersama Profesor Emeritus tahun 2023. Yang pada hari ini kita ada yang kita hormati, yang bahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr Ibrahim bin Che Omar, Fellow Akademia Sains Malaysia dan Fellow Kanan Majlis Profesor Negara, yang utamanya ialah Profesor Emeritus UMK. Right? Satu tepukanlah kepada Datuk. Tidak lupa kepada Profesor Madya Dr. Muhammad Najmi Masri sebagai ketua yang melaksanakan program hari ini lah, daripada PKPA, Pusat Kecemerlangan dan Pembangunan Akademik PKPA UMK. Saudara Akmal, Dekan FBI Dr. Bob, yang sebelah Najmi apa? Dr. Ika, okey, Dr. Ika daripada PKPA lah, Dr. Ika. Lupa nama lah. Perempuan ni saya lupa nama, lelaki senang kan. Tidak lupa kepada pegawai-pegawai kanan UMK, pensyarah-pensyarah staf UMK dan hadirin hadirat sekalian. Ya. Sebenarnya saya ada mesyuarat di Pengadilan Cepa dan 2 hari lepas Prof Dato Nick hubungi saya lah, mengatakan boleh tak saya wakilkan beliau untuk hadir pada program pada hari ini. Saya kata Prof Dato Dato Ib, insya-Allah boleh lah. Itu yang datang juga tu, sebab saya rasa pengalaman beliau yang menjadi pioneer lah di UMK ni, banyak yang kita boleh pelajari daripada beliau. Dan profesor yang senior berada di USM dan juga UMK. Berdasarkan pada dua faktor ni, I think kalau whatever ada talk yang Datuk Profesor Ibrahim nak bagi ni, insya-Allah kita kena hadir dan cuba ambil peluang dia. Satu lagi tepukanlah pada Datuk. Ya. Program Bicara Akademik ni seperti yang dimaklumkan kepada saya, merupakan ada pelbagai siri lah, ya, dan siri pertama telah dilaksanakan pada Oktober, dan diharap siri-siri sebegini, siri program-program pencambahan ilmu perlu digalakkan lagi, perlu dikerapkan lagi, sebab ini yang menunjukkan kita sebuah universiti, menjadikan konten sebuah universiti itulah, berbandingkan dengan sekolah dan sebagainya. Dan saya amat menyokonglah program-program sebegini. Di peringkat pejabat TNCPI pun kita banyak program-program begini, di mana kita jemput profesor-profesor pihak industri daripada luar untuk membincangkan isu-isu berkenaan dengan pendidikan dan inovasi. Right? Dan kita perlukan input-input daripada luar, mereka yang mempraktikkan sesuatu bidang tu, supaya kita boleh pelajarilah do and don'ts, tidak melangkah kepada perkara-perkara yang pernah dibuat yang salah, yang kita boleh elakkan. Di peringkat pejabat TNCPI, for example, kita jemput yang terbaru ni Datuk Faizal Rafiq, mantan VC USM. Sekarang ni dia Chief Digital Officer di USM lah. Sebelum tu kita jemput juga Datuk Hamdi, mantan VC UM dan UKM. Sekarang ni ada VC baru lah, Datuk Prof Azwan. So mereka-mereka ni I think seperti Datuk Ib juga, merupakan kita punya reference ataupun expert yang probably kita boleh jemput. Dan hari ni saya nampak ada recording kan, penting juga. Sometimes kita tak boleh datang secara fizikal, tapi online tu penting. Right? Saya seboleh-boleh kalau ada program-program begini yang ada direkodkan, insya-Allah akan lihat jugalah. Bagi contoh yang itu minggu lepas Prof Nick buat di ACAP, right? Program business acumen, right? Satu hari saya ada 2-3 meeting, tapi secara online boleh mengikuti juga, sebab input-inputnya amat baik, right? Dan pesanan Datuk Naib Chancellor baru-baru ni, tahun depan akan dipergiatkan lagi lah program-program di ACAP, terutama untuk ketua-ketua jawatan, dekan dan sebagainya. Sebab kita kena invest dah, 150,000 dah ACAP minta setiap universiti. So kalau dijemput tu, I think you should put a priority lah on long life learning dan sebagainya kan. This is very important lah for us dalam dunia akademik ataupun di universiti. Saya pun tak nak bercakap banyak. Kita jemput hari ini khas Datuk Ibrahim Che Omar, kita punya Profesor Emeritus YBhg, untuk berkongsi berdasarkan tajuk tadi. Dia kata The Future of YBhg, Challenge, Dynamism, Way Forward, untuk kita sama-sama dapatkan input lah daripada Datuk Ibrahim Che Omar, bagaimana kita boleh melangkah ke depan dengan lebih baik. Sekarang ni cabaran-cabaran amat berat, terutama dari segi kewangan, Datuk. Bajet kad dan sebagainya. Tahun depan pun banyak juga bajet kad operasi yang dibentangkan. InsyaAllah kita akan cuba nak gunakan tabung amanah ke dan sebagainya to make sure that we can do the activities accordingly lah, untuk mencapai KPI yang telah diberi. Cakap hari ni macam sedap sikit suara. Boleh nyanyi. Dia punya mic okey tak? Dah baiki kan? Okey. Cukuplah. Okay, kata aluan je kot. Saya ucapkan sekali lagi lah ribuan terima kasih kerana sudi menjemput saya untuk bersama-sama dengan program Datuk Ibrahim Che Omar. Dan kita ucapkan selamat datang sekali lagi kepada Datuk. You are always welcome to YBhg, Datuk. And kepada yang hadir ni, sama-samalah kita meneliti, mendengar dengan teliti dan juga bagaimana kita boleh gunakan pesanan-pesanan yang telah akan disampaikan oleh Datuk Ibrahim untuk memajukan YBhg ini, insya-Allah. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Majlis merakamkan ucapan penghargaan terima kasih kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Teknologis Dr. Ibrahim bin Abdullah di atas ucapan aluan sebentar tadi. Sidang hadirin yang dihormati, majlis diteruskan lagi dengan tayangan montaj. Sama-sama kita saksikan. Hadirin hadirat yang dikasihi, majlis dengan penuh sukacitanya menjemput Yang Berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr Haji Ibrahim bin Che Omar, Fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia dan Fellow Kanan Majlis Profesor Negara. Kini tibalah saat yang dinanti-nantikan, iaitu untuk kita sama-sama mendengar bicara akademia yang bertajuk The Future of YBhg, Challenges, Dynamism and Way Forward in the Era of Change. Majlis dengan ini mempersilakan.
Sebab Prof Arham kata mic sedap, saya nak cuba. Alright, boleh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan selamat pagi, salam sejahtera. Terlebih dahulu saya nak mengucap terima kasih kepada pengacara majlis. Saya dah lama ni tidak formal begini ni. Otak pun beku sikit lah sebenarnya sebab lama tak tak berfikir macam kita semua ni. But nevertheless akademik ni sentiasa dekat di hati saya. So nak lupa dengan tiba-tiba tu rasa susah sikit lah. Jadi ada ketika teringat jugalah kenangan-kenangan masa jadi ahli akademik. Now saya nak ucap terima kasih dahulu kepada everybody, Prof Arham yang telah dapat meluangkan masa pagi ni. Saya pun terharu jugalah tengok majlis very formal pula jadinya. Sebenarnya I was expecting saya pergi dan just cerita aja apa yang patut kan, to share with all of us. But nevertheless, thank you so much Prof Arham and juga Prof Madia, Dr Najmi dan pasukannya, Dr Ika and the whole lot of PKPA. Betul lah, masa saya tu tak ada lagi PKPA, dia panggil benda lain, dia panggil BPA kalau tak silap. Bahagian Pembangunan Akademik. Dan PPPA, banyak P tu. So dan akhir terima kasih kepada semua yang dapat meluangkan masa to be with me, dengar cerita orang tua. What I have got to say something. I want to do this in English because I prepare slide in English. Tapi once a while I can also do that in bahasa Melayu. Saya tak ada masalah juga. So if you like to ask anything, boleh tanya dalam bahasa Melayu, tak ada masalah. Kita boleh sama-sama diversify whatever we are trying to do. Bahasa, dari segi bahasa. Dan anyway, treat the session as a very informal session. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this topic. Actually, this tajuk ini saya dah lama fikir. When I was the pengarah strategik, lepas saya tamat TNC saya disambung. Tapi saya rasa saya dah hilang minat untuk jadi pekerja dah masa tu. I do not want to work anymore. I felt that I have done what I wanted to do. So saya rasa saya dah. So I tried because Prof Azizi masa tu was telling me duduklah. When I went to China with him, he told me, you cannot go, you have to stay. Who is going to help me with this China punya cerita ni? Kita, you have your TNCA, you have your TNCPI nanti. So you don't have to worry, you have people around you. Dia kata, so but nevertheless I still need your input, so stay. So saya cubalah, I stayed for 4 months and I was the pengarah strategik that time. So dalam masa 4 bulan tu I was thinking, what strategic thinking should I be doing for UMK? Dan saya pun dah start preparing the slides that I want to present it to the university that time. And we arranged satu mesyuarat di Pangkor kalau saya tak silap, which I didn't go because saya dah berhenti masa tu. And that was something in July. I end my 4 months term tu in June. So now the slides yang saya dah prepare 4 tahun yang lalu, saya masih ada dan saya tambah baik sikit. I'm going to share it. Jadi tak rugilah. Saya dah prepare masa tu, which I think masa tu there's a lot of things that I wanted to tell the university. What way forward, what we should be doing, as a university as a whole in many aspects. So saya prepare that slide strategically with strategic thinking, not putting aside the strategic planning yang kita ada, tetapi it should be complement with what we have and how to move forward. Now, and that's one thing. Another thing ialah future study is something yang close to me. when I was a fellow at IPPTN, I do not know whether you know what is IPPTN, Institut Penyelidikan Pendidikan Tinggi Negara. One of the focus area yang saya terlibat dalam IPPTN ialah satu ialah on leadership, the other one is on future studies. And I went for a training dengan a renowned futurist researcher, Profesor Sohail nama dia. I think Prof Arham would have heard his name. Profesor Sohail ni is dia punya major is future study. Dia cerita pasal masa depan. But I want to share that, and then we did a big research on future study of the university in Malaysia at that time. So when we started, we tried to visualize what kind of future do we see in higher education. But saya nak gunakan maklumat penyelidikan itu dan try to apply it kepada Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Because I went through daripada the beginning of the university, I know exactly where are we heading and what are we lacking and what we have achieved. So based on those, saya try to put them together and create that future. Untuk future studies ni, kita ada tool, you know, we have got lots of tools. I'm going to use just one tool, that is the quadrat, which I'm going to share with you how to look into the perspective of future studies and also to look at what are the things that we could put all the information that we have, the past, the present, to foresee the future. Now remember, future studies ni bukan bermakna prediction. Kita tidak nak jadi bomo ataupun nak jadi dukun, nak jadi nujum. Tetapi we use future study to see what are the steps, what are the action that we need to go on. You know, are we on the right track? Yes, a lot of us will say we are on the right track. We are on the right track. Yes, I do not know whether we will say that just to please somebody or anybody. Tetapi we know that, you know, future studies is about action planning. You know, action. Bukan hanya fikir apa nak buat, but we also think what are the things what we should do. And definitely we should do it right. That is the most important. So saya put that together, that slides, then I've made improvement on those slides, and I'm going to share it with you today on the challenges that we're going to have. All right, and also the dynamism, because higher education is not a static situation, it is changing. Dulu masa saya, when I was undergraduate student, dia tak sama dengan undergraduate student sekarang. When I was jadi pensyarah, masa tu dia panggil apa Prof Arham, dia grade, dia panggil, dia tidak DS, dia panggil apa dia? No, tutor, tapi grade saya nama pun dah berubah, nama pun tak sama dengan sekarang. Gaji pun tak sama, obviously. You know, when I started PhD, 1,700 ringgit. You just imagine masa tu. But now orang ada PhD masuk mula-mula ni, dah berapa dah punya gaji kan. So kalau nak complain lagi, saya kata dah dengan Prof Arham tadi, dulu tak ada apa. Tapi sekarang ada apa-apa, tapi masih complain. But anyway, let's move on. Now let me dia macam mana dia apa nama ni, okay, tak apa, saya anu sini aja lah. Okay. Tak keluar, tak jalan. Okay. Sini jalan. All right, let me start with this statement. What makes a university great? Okay. Now, a lot of information shows that there are three factors actually that makes university to hebat. Saya bilingual nah. Is that right? The first one is high concentration of talents, skilled talents, good academics, good student. So that's why everybody is striving for good people, and good students to come into university. The second one is sizable budget. Budget kena ada. Prof Arham baru sebut income, apa nama ni? Tak cukup duit tadi. So if you tak ada duit, you cannot make your university great. Definitely. Itu tak boleh buat, ini tak boleh buat. And the third one ialah the combination of freedom, autonomy and also leadership. Now, kalau tak ada freedom, ada banyak halangan. It's again, you cannot be better than anybody else. You don't have autonomy. We talk about autonomy. I'm going to talk something about autonomy. Kita dapat autonomous status. But where is our autonomy? These are just hearsays. These are just, make believe, about autonomy. And again, leadership. You need good leadership. Kalau leadership tak bagus, we are going to have problem. When I say leadership, doesn't mean just VC, It is everybody's business. It is not just the top management. It refers to everybody on the university. Now, these are criteria yang digunakan oleh world class, to say they are great, like Harvard, Cambridge dan sebagainya. World class university, dia live in the environment yang sentiasa fikir pasal competitiveness. Dia berfikir how to compete all the time. And to be competitive, you have to be different. We in UMK, di UMK kita sebut pasal unique, relevant dan berbeza, different. Tetapi how different we are. Okay, kita guna entrepreneurship as our main criteria to be different. Tetapi university lain is also talking about entrepreneurship, must not forget. But how different are you and the other universities? Kita kena make sure that we are always different and be competitive. Now, institutions that have complete autonomy are also more agile. Kalau kita less autonomy, your mobility is confined to certain situation and condition. Dan perkara-perkara ini yang menghalang untuk lebih maju. Now, these are the things that we have to start thinking, 3 items, because we are talking about living in the changing global market. We are always in the era of change. Now, this is the scenario in Malaysia. I will give you the slides. You don't have to, sebab tu saya suka, I like to give some information. If you see my slide is always very, informative. You know why? Because I will give the slides to all of you, and before you go to bed, before you cuddle your baby, you baca, you can read. I don't have to read them. Dia tidak ada masalah untuk faham. But if you have problem understanding, you can always give me a call. Call Dr. Najmi, dia tahu nombor saya. You can always give me a call. Saya orang pencen, I tak ada kerja. Saya duduk aja, bangun, tidur, and then main dengan cucu. That's about all what I did. And the rest, lah, kita orang tua, I know where I'm heading, so I have to do something different than all of you, kuat dan muda. We are governed by acts. Ini pun dah start kita punya autonomy, bermasalah. Kita punya freedom tu. There are a lot of acts, higher education act, even the private higher education pun ada act 555 ini. So that is one. Number 2 ialah we do not have the authority to decide. Saya difahamkan nak lantik honorary professor pun kena dapat permission daripada KPT, which is actually challenge, mencabar kita punya kesarjanaan. To me lah, when you need to ask people yang honorary professor pun nak kena tanya people dekat ministry is something different. Now, strict ministry control, and we are also struggling for real autonomy. These are the things that are happening. Dan kita kena faham that this is real dan dia berlaku. Now, higher education in Malaysia is very volatile. dia bertukar. Dia ada selalu, there are always new things coming in that we have to follow. Kita kena ikut, kita kena, walaupun in the period I have for the last 30 years di universiti pun, berbagai perkara yang nak kena lalu, they start telling you to do this, they start telling you to do this. It's very volatile, very ambiguous, very complex, and very uncertain. So the second one ialah the imperative is to adapt to serve the needs of the society. Universities are meant to start contributing to the society. And then sekarang ini it is stressed that it has to be relevant. We also have that relevant. Tetapi how far has we been relevant to the society? What changes have we done to make the society different from any other societies in the country? Many countries are seeking for autonomy, Indian universities as well. So the value of institutional autonomy ini ialah we want to use it untuk create new things, particularly innovation and also doing good research. So innovation di sini doesn't mean that products, outcomes from research, tetapi it refers to other innovation. Teaching dan learning is an innovation. Administrative ada innovation dia. There's a lot of other innovation. Tetapi it can only be done with clear autonomy, things that we are allowed to do. Now, in the European University Association declaration in 2007, they have clearly indicate these four dimension dalam autonomy: organizational, academic, financial and human resource. Dan kita juga ikut. Kita untuk dapat autonomi, kita juga ikut 4 kriteria ini. When we mulakan, when UMK submit autonomi punya maklumat, we didn't get the autonomy. We failed because we failed dalam financial and human resource. The second round kita buat semula, we lulus. Alhamdulillah, we got the autonomy. Tetapi where is that? What have we done with that autonomy? Again, whether we did not do anything or we are not allowed to do because there's no room for practicing of autonomy in the university. So who should answer that? Siapa nak jawab ni? Kita tak buat tu kerana kita tak mahu buat atau tak boleh buat ataupun kita tidak diberi ruang untuk buat. So that is the situation. Now, if you look at the driving force in higher education, which is also applicable to UMK, ada banyak that drive us why we should strengthen our higher education, why we should strengthen our university. For example, competitiveness is one. Kita nak bersaing, so we have to do well. One. Yang kedua, globalization. We talk about internationalization. We talk about liberation of education. We talk about massification of education, equity in education. Those are things that we have to start thinking, Macam equity, baru ni kita ada GAF, mungkin Prof Arham attend the Global Higher Education Forum. They talk about equity post-COVID because a lot of people terbengkalai education because of COVID. Tetapi who are now responsible for making sure that people get the right to do education? And there's a lot of chaos within the globe that resulted in drop in the equity and also massification of higher education. Alhamdulillah, in our case, we can narrow down our perspective by looking at the B40, for example, because they also deserve to get right education if they are qualified. Or you can create situation where they can also allow to be part in the higher education system. Economic survival, technology advancement, knowledge, technology, emerging technologies for the futures. This is also driving us to make different. Mengapa kita talk about digital technology? Why do we talk about ICT? Kita nak amplify all this, because the world is looking at it. That is a drive for us. Political, very strong in Malaysia. The drive that menyebabkan higher education ni is important because it is of political scenario. Another last one is environmental. This one we know very well. What changes, climatic change. I think now they have a conference in Dubai on climatic change, iklim, perubahan iklim. I think Malaysia participates in the program, and they are talking about how education can be used as a tool untuk bantu dalam mengatasi isu-isu berkait dengan climatic change and geographical differences. Now, because of this driving force in our education, in our university as well, there are implications. Malaysia aims to be a developed country out of this, with high income by at least 2020 mula-mula start. Tapi berjaya ke tidak? By 2025, and again now we are say kita sekarang guna 2030 as the benchmark. Now, globalization, liberalization, hyper-competitiveness will also be our major drivers. So, semua orang kena fikir that kita kena compete. Semua orang kena compete. Between you, DS44, 45, DS52, 54, etc., etc. These are competition, competition in a healthy manner lah. Janganlah bergaduh, bertumbuk semua cerita. But we are talking about how you can help each other to make sure that you remain competitive. Alright? To be competitive globally, the approach will be development and application of emerging technologies, new technologies. Tak boleh elak. So if you don't have money in the first place, bila kata to make it great and we don't have money to start working on new technologies, then we are in trouble. The education system also require reformation. Kita kena do a lot of reformation. Dari segi teaching sahaja pun ada banyak innovation nak kena ubah. Masa saya student, pensyarah hanya blackboards kata umpamanya. But now you see, there's a lot of interactive, education delivery system yang telah pun digunakan. And that is real. Now, if you look at trend pula, yang sekarang happening in higher education. Of course, when I say higher education, it refers to us as well. It's coming to us. Now, you see that autonomy in education is a trend. People are talking about autonomy in education. Apa yang kita boleh buat? Borderless teaching, learning approaches, research-based teaching, diverse knowledge acquisition. Bukan satu cara sekarang ni untuk dapat knowledge. Bukan hanya attend classes, for example. There's a lot of other ways. They are talking about digitalization, education for banyak benda, the trend they are. And are we with that? Adakah kita together, when we develop a curriculum, are we thinking that curriculum should also suit for 4IR, for example? Are we talking about flexible education? We are talking about mitigating education. You understand what is mitigating education? Maknanya dia education yang find solution to problems, mitigate. Alright? Bukan hanya mengajar because someone is interested in the area, so you create the curriculum, alhamdulillah dapat lulus, tapi tak boleh nak guna. Is some also a waste. Future-proof education. Apa makna future-proof? Do you understand what is the meaning of future-proof? Now, anybody nak jawab? Anybody wants to tell me something about what I meant by future-proof? Sini macam mengajar pula ada jadi. Do you understand future-proof? Kalau saya kata future-proof education, anybody wants to say something? Exactly. What you start today, make sure that it is still applicable 2030. Meaning to say that what you teach today is also useful in the future. So that is proofs. Makna dia macam bulletproof, you know. Faham kan bulletproof makna dia kebal lah, kebal. Kebal untuk future. Kalis Okay. Makna dia bila future datang pun kita tak risau. Our geology course is still relevant. Makna dia. Kata nak, in 2030 geology dah tak boleh pakai. Tak masuk akal lah kan. We still want the area. Market-driven, English is still important. I know we are doing our delivery sekarang ini in English, but still need to stress that it is still important. Massification, I was talking, no one fits all system of education. Tak boleh kata yang kita buat ini akan sesuai untuk semua keadaan. It's going to change. Intensive research intensive university, I know this is a term, this is emerging, remember trends and emerging issues. Dalam negara kita ada research intensive university, RUs. Tetapi at the same time, the ministry is also stressing the need for other universities to do good research. So sekarang ni macam limbo. Are we supposed to, you know, we have situation where our VC sebelum inilah, bukan yang ni saya tak tahu. Saya tak ada pengalaman dengan VC yang ada sekarang. Yang pernah ada VC-VC yang sebelum ini di UMK ni yang akan kata kita bukan nak jadi research university. Kita tak payah sibuk pasal research. You know, saya masa tu TNCPI. Apa saya nak buat? Tak payah nak sibuk pasal research. Kita bukan nak jadi research university. Kita nak jadi entrepreneurial university. Tapi the trend is bila ukur, the only pengukuran yang reflect the cemerlang university ialah through research. Publicationnya, numbers of PI-nya. Tapi at the same time, the VC bukan seorang, beberapa orang. Kita dah ada berapa VC now? 5-6 kan? Ada beberapanya sebut macam itu. So, kita ni, you know, it was antagonizing, you know, deep inside, because on one hand dia kata tak penting, jadi budget tu dikurangkan, you know. On the other hand, we are expected to what report and tell us what are the achievement of university, because through academic susah nak tunjuk excellent academic tu, kecuali new programs yang unik dan berbeza dan boleh menjana pendapatan. Now, networking, benchmarking, industrial involvement, commercialization, semua ini is the trend. Dia menjadi pengukuran bila kita nak rank. Bila nak rank university, global ranking pun, ini digunakan. Cuma yang akademik tu ditanya, how many student, nisbah kepada pelajar and so on. Nisbah pensyarah. But the whole idea, kalau tengok criteria tu mainly research based. Okay, environment, societal development, human values. We are looking at human values now, and economic revolution, money, income generation, particularly wealth creation and income generation. So ini trend. Makna dia trend ini, why I was saying, because you have to put this in your strategic thinking. Kalau kita abaikan trend ini, kita akan ketinggalan, because we are moving towards the future. The future is dictated by what is happening currently, because future means what is happening in the past, what is existing present, then you can use it to foresee the future. Sebab itu saya kata tadi, the future is not, kita tak jadi nujum, kita bukan predict. What we want to do is to see all these factors, put them together and see how we can draw the chart of our future. Now, if you look at the implication of this trend yang sedang berlaku, these are happening currently when I say emerging issues. Implication is Malaysian higher education institution will need to have a very flexible education. Dia tak boleh cara lama dah education di university. It has to be very diversified. cara acquisition of knowledge pun tak sama, cara guna mengajar, delivery system has got to change, credentializing, grading, evaluation are all changing. Okay, so degree you offer can comes in many forms and ways how you can award the degree. Lifelong education, role of education, peranan pendidikan juga mesti berubah. Why do you train student? Are you just training so that your student will get job? To provide student dengan pekerjaan? You know? Now, in the future, to be frank with you, I will come to that nevertheless. We are not worried about employability in the future. You know why? Because you don't even know whether the existing job that we have today will be still relevant in the future. What we say macam dulu kan, destruction technology tu. Kita kata dulu that was the job. Tapi now it does not exist anymore. And that is happening. It is going to happen in the future as well. And then you are also providing skills and knowledge. Knowledgeable human capital. Because ini yang jadi bekal. So tak payah worry. Tetapi sekarang the trend is kita worry pasal job ni. Malah jadi KPI. KPI bukan setakat naib chancellor, KPI menteri pun. KPI menteri untuk pastikan budak-budak yang kita latih ni, yang kita bagi education ni, they get jobs. Which I think it is a tall order. Sedangkan hakikatnya we do not have to worry that they can do whatever they like. You know, because income generation does not come through profession. And worst scenario, I was made to understand that there is what they call premier income. Maknanya based on gaji banyak pula dah. 4,000 pula. Which I again thinks that it is ridiculous. You know why I think it's ridiculous? You can graduate with a biotechnology, kata macam in bidang biotechnology. Tapi tiba-tiba you jadi dancer. Which is not 4,000, 10,000. And you call that a successful education system? For example, kalau nak ukur pun, to me, if you do a job which is relevant to what you study, is more relevant than gauging from this premier, you know, based on gaji dia yang banyak tadi. So, which do you think is more valuable? Seorang bidang biotechnology tadi bekerja dalam industri biotechnology, gaji dia tidak banyak, tidak sebanyak jadi penari tadi, walaupun dia biotechnology. Which one is more successful in terms of education? You know, nak jadi dancer tak payah pun attend a biotechnology course for 4 years and do all this, you know, all sort of science. And then it goes into the drain, something like that. So tetapi that is the trend. We are looking at that and we worry about our student in the future, what they're going to be. But with skill and knowledge, we hope that itu jadi bekal yang kuat untuk membolehkan mereka survive in the future. Financial sustainability becomes an issue. Tadi Prof Arham ada sebut, saya reiterate. It is an issue because of that trend, cut budget dan sebagainya. It becomes an issue. And lastly, you know that the role of academics like us is changing. We are not just doing teaching. Kita bukan hanya mengajar dah. Kita nak kena research, kita nak kena publish, kita nak kena apa lagi? Generate income, apa lagi? Kita consultant, macam-macam kita expectation kita dah. So kalau sebab tu when I first jadi dekan dekat UMK ni, saya kata gini, bukan calang-calang orang yang boleh jadi pensyarah. Kalau you fikir you datang hanya nak bersyarah, you jadi cikgu lah. Kalau you fikir you hanya saya tak nak jadi pensyarah, saya tak nak mengajar, saya cuma suka research saja. You jangan jadi pensyarah, you jadi researcher dekat research institute. Because pensyarah ni dia macam-macam. A lot of things that you have to do, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of roles that you have to play, and some of these roles are changing. Dia berubah-ubah. Kadang-kadang KPI-nya macam ni, esok KPI-nya dah berubah pula dah. Dulu cara isi borang untuk naik pangkat hanya isi borang, dia tak tanya age index, dia tak tanya semua tu. Tapi sekarang, masa saya jadi profesor pun, I just list all the publication I have. I do not care whether dia ada impact factor ke tak ada. Saya tak pernah kira. I do not know that time. Dan that is cukup dah untuk diguna kriteria. Dia tengok banyak, ni boleh jadi profesor agaknya. Tapi sekarang tak. Banyak tapi tak ada impact factor, tak ada age index. Tak boleh. Banyak saja quantity versus quality becomes an issue. Alright. So roles are changing, peranan berubah, cara berubah dan banyak benda yang berubah. So that is the trend. Now, therefore, over 17 years ini, when we started in 2007, 2006 in fact, tapi student pertama masuk 2007, kita lihat kepada trend, kita lihat kepada emerging issues yang saya sebutkan tadi, and now we are over 17 years, kita nak design that future. Bagaimana lagi yang kita harapkan our university is going to be like. Now, if you look at this, you see that it is not going to be easy with all those driving forces yang kita gunakan tadi, dengan segala weight and constraint that we have, the challenges, the volatility, the uncertainty, the complex and the ambiguity that we have, yang saya sebutkan tadi, it starts to change. Challenges dan kelemahan yang kita ada, this is going to bring us somehow. Dan kalau kita lihat, kalau banyak yang tak berlaku, yang tak berjaya, bermakna kita punya weight dan constraint itu mengatasi daripada kekuatan yang kita ada. Jadi kadang-kadang biggest constraint ialah mungkin we cannot do it because we do not have money. We cannot do it because we do not have people. And that was exactly when we started. When we started at the university, kita tak ada orang. We cannot do it. Macam-macam expectation. Saya remember lagi when I presented the first draft kepada menteri, masa tu saya mangku TNCA, direction of the university. The biggest soalan yang ditanya, I was presenting sebelum saya was Prof Asmah. Prof Asmah was TNCPI dekat USM masa tu. Dia present the way research in USM is going to be like to the minister. Tapi saya present the beginning of UMK masa tu, what we foresee. Tetapi the question yang ditanya ialah, do you have the resources to do it? Saya beranganlah masa tu, banyak benda yang saya tulis. Termasuklah the setting up of the institute, pengajian siswazah lah, macam-macam saya tulis. Tetapi the thing is, the soalan menteri ialah, do you have the resources? Ada orang ke? Dia mula kata, dia kata UMK 3 minit dah lah. Tak ada apa, dia kata. Kata saya, akui tak ada apa. Tapi I'm going to tell you, I'm proud to say that in the first convocation of UMK, kita ada student master graduated. Tidak ada sejarah di universiti di Malaysia, in the first convocation ada postgraduate student lagi at this point in time. So dia kata, oh ada dah kan? Kata, yes, we managed to graduate one master student during the first convocation of UMK. So that is an achievement, and I think that we can achieve. Tapi we need that resources yang kita tak ada. We cannot do very much because we do not have people. We cannot do very much because we do not have money. Duit pun tak ada, cukup untuk pembangunan. Masa tu nak repair situ, nak buat rumah kedai, nak bina meja, itu yang our priority. Nothing to do with research. Research pun tak ada. Research pun kita tak buat. Duit pun tak pernah. Apply, we encourage staff to apply for grant. Seorang pun tak dapat. None of us get FRGS, macam ada dah. Tapi none of us tak dapat. You know, seorang pun tak dapat. So that is the time when we started short-term research grant, you know, to help the staff. So the weight and constraint ini yang menjadi masalah kita. And we have to study weight and constraint ini extensively so that dia tidak mengganggu gugat. It will not disturb our future planning. Itu yang saya nak stress. Now, weight and constraint ni sebenarnya ialah about fear to change. Because kita tak berani nak berubah. Kita takut nak berubah. Dan kalau ia disebabkan oleh wang dan orang, we can still work on because we have the means to, pulah telinga. Kalau yang degil. Malah saya kata, kalau you rasa tak sanggup nak jadi pensyarah, ingat dah Anis. You berhenti. Because my expectation is very high. If you want to be an academician, my expectation is very high. I want you to excel. Kalau sekadar nak jadi cari makan, cari kerja lain. You know, that was the time when I was the dean. I said that because kita kena very rigorous. So the word yang saya guna ialah business unusual. Business unusual. Kita kena buat cara yang tidak norm. You cannot work kalau it is normal, biasa. Fear to change ni because of many reasons. You know, I've listed some of them here, which is beyond staff dan orang dan duit tadi. Because that one we will try to work hard. Tapi yang ini yang sebenarnya yang susah sikit kita nak entertain, you know. For example, political. Kita nak freedom, autonomy, kita susah sikit sebab ada constraints itu. Sedangkan higher education system in Malaysia ni tidak boleh lari daripada political intervention. Tidak boleh lari. Nak buat apa saja, you cuba fikirkan. Sebab tu saya ada satu future which I try to tell you that sometimes we say we do not need Mohe anymore. They are just stopping us from being excellent. You know, it is very drastic, tetapi that is hakikat. You know, exactly. Suruhanjaya, like in Thailand. Thailand tidak ada Ministry of Higher Education, and they have all the freedom and autonomy to run the university. Tapi kita tak boleh, kita ada act, kita ada itu, kita ada ni, dan the political. Even appointment within the university pun, even the board pun ada political standing in it, you know. And I do not know what is their role sebagai mata dan telinga ke, tak tahulah. Tetapi I don't see they can play any role because they don't understand higher education. I do not know whether you are experiencing or not. Tapi when I was in the board, I feel that they are just a nuisance, sorry to say lah. Maybe Prof Arham can elaborate further what is happening. So that's why I feel Mohe tu ada tu relevancy, you know, because we are community of scholars. Kita ni orang pandai-pandai. Malah Menteri Pendidikan Tinggi boast, dia kata kementerian dia ni adalah kementerian yang paling orang bijak, paling smartest ministry. You know why? Because we have people who are high qualification and excellent. Profesor lah, itulah, macam-macam. Tetapi tak boleh pakai. Makna dia macam, you know, they are just professor, but yang pegang tali itu bukan mereka. Saya pegang tali, something like that. Now these are some of them. So macam saya kata tadi, tonight pelan-pelan baca what's happening. Now seperti saya kata tadi, the future studies that I'm going to work is something that I have done research on it, and I'm going to just apply it untuk UMK. It is actually there's a book yang telah kita publish, a monograph yang dipublish oleh IPPTN kerjasama Mohe, masa depan pendidikan tinggi di Malaysia, and I try to use the concept untuk try to apply it to UMK. Now, seperti saya stress tadi, future study ini is defined as consistent and coherent description of alternative hypothetical futures that reflect different perspectives on past, present, and the future, which can serve as a basis for action. Bukan predict. We are not predicting. Kita tak tahu. Hanya Allah yang tahu apa yang akan berlaku. Only God knows. Only Allah knows what is going to happen. Mungkin kita pun dah tak ada. You all, I'm not saying kita lah. Mungkin you all ni masih muda, masih panjang umur. 2030 saya pun mungkin dah tak ada, something like that, you know. So but it could be a beginning, a start for basis of action that we got to take. There are tools for thinking about the future. Kita guna future study ini sebagai alat untuk memikir pasal future, which will be shaped partly through deliberate strategies and action, partly by factors beyond the control of decision makers. You know, because kita tak boleh nak pasti apa yang akan berlaku. Yang kita boleh buat ialah kita boleh lakukan, ambil tindakan yang bersesuaian kalau perkara itu akan berlaku di masa hadapan. So that is exactly future studies. And future study ada di ijazah. You can go, di Malaysia tidak ada ditawarkan lah, tapi di negara barat ada ijazah sarjana muda sastra bracket future studies. You know, and it's not applicable just in higher education, it is applicable in other areas. You know, dalam industri makanan, for example. How do you foresee the future of food industry? Are we going to have this food security last for a lot more time? Ataupun in the future kita akan hadapi masalah kekurangan makanan? If you see the current trending, the emerging trend that the food shortage, raw material is depleting, for example. So those are the things that future studies talks about, which I think would be a good start for all of you to start thinking. Selalu, you know, but when I talk about future studies, orang kata kita ni suka merancang. Tapi merancang tu ialah benar, we still have to state that kita merancang, Allah yang menentukan. Dan apa saja yang kita rancangkan, Allah itulah perancang terbaik. Alright? So, but we should not stop sebagai perancang. Now, let me just start by looking, doing future study dengan UMK by looking back a little bit, seperti kata past. Now, when we started into 007, this is short of the curve that we are looking at. You know, by 2020, we are supposed to be competitive. We compete, ready to compete and display excellent. Now, you can answer this question, whether we are now very competitive dan juga kita dah capai excellent. Maybe kalau kita ikut rank, kita pun dah berasa bangga sikit dah kot. Kita dah UMK dah 821 world rank, things like that. Kita juga dah jadi entrepreneurial university yang number 1 in Malaysia, and so on. So this is the thinking that we have currently. Tapi kita punya whole objectives, kita kena look back kita punya masa kita start. Based on our philosophy, which covers entrepreneurship, education, third language, ICT as enabler, memang dah ada dah. Tapi sebab tu saya kata future ni dah ada dah pun, tapi not distributed. ICT kita lama dah bercerita, bukan baru. Nah, bukan sekarang kita nak guna ICT, masa tu nak guna ICT. Betul tak Idawani? Kita nak guna lama dah. Saya selalu kata kita ni bukan enabler, disable punya. Kejap rosak, kejap tak boleh pakai, kejap, you know, we do not have that thinking, you know, mengapa selalu tak boleh nak buat. Kita dah mula fikir dah. So tapi alhamdulillah, after resolve certain problem, we were able to start thinking, and you see that ICT is going to be one of the enabler yang kita akan gunakan in all aspect. Saya nak ucap tahniah kepada Prof Arham kerana saya baca dalam Facebook tu ICT was able to deliver sistem research management system. During masa saya PI lagi tu, saya duduk marah, duduk siapa dengan saya masa tu? Okay, dia tahu. Saya kata, you know, I was so mad because ICT tak boleh deliver. Tangguh. Hari nak deliver, hari tu dah beri tarikh pada saya. Tiba-tiba tak boleh, system down. I shut down. I kata, when are you going to up? You know, baru hari ni, how many years saya dah pencen 4 tahun dah. Tak sempat pun nak tengok research management system. You know, I went to India to look at the research management system in a small university di Gujarat. Balik tu rasa envious, dia universiti yang selekeh, dia nampak selekeh lah. Sebab dia tak kemas kan universiti India tu. Tapi masuk dalam bilik dia, dia punya teknologi, you know. Tapi kita tak mampu. Kita nampak di luar hebat sikit lah, cantik lah sikit kampus kita. Tapi we inside, we still have problem. That time, I'm talking about that time. I'm talking about the past. This is where we are. Tetapi kita rasa kita should be competitive 2020 tu dan beyond itu. You can answer that question. Now, University of the Future, is an inevitable profound change. The most important thing ialah the future ni kita kena ada jenama yang hebat. Reputation. Kalau tak ada reputation, stop talking about competitiveness. Now, apa makna reputation? It is a credibility and legitimacy of our institution perceived by stakeholders. A lot of stakeholders. Dia punya including students, staff, governors, peers, industry, semua beri pandangan yang excellent kepada universiti. That time, then our reputation should be good. You know, because reputation ni digunakan untuk ranking. Nah? The overall impression of excellence sebenarnya ada banyak faktor. Bukan you know, just a particular factor ataupun academic factor saja. There's a lot of things that resulted in excellent in academic, for example. It's not just about the academic. Bukan PKPA saja yang menyebabkan excellentnya academic di UMK. Betul PKPA. Tapi orang lain pun menyumbang, you know, faculties and things like that, which contribute effectively. Now, after 17 years, of course, kita dah buat difference. If I look at the picture, rumah kedai yang we started, dengan bangunan yang ada sekarang, physically we dah bombastically berubah. You know, I was like dreaming masa duduk dalam rumah kedai tu one day duduk dalam bangunan sendiri yang hebat dan cantik. Dan berapa bulan? Dan 6 bulan duduk dekat bangunan ni, you know, facing the kolam, the lake tu. It was good. The good feeling, tetapi you know deep inside saya rasa macam sayu pula, you know, the fact that when we started we do not have that luxury, tetapi we have to work very hard, you know, we have to work very hard, tetapi we have changed. Now, are we on the right track? Kalau saya dengar speeches daripada VC, speeches daripada a lot of people, yeah, we are on the right track, you know. Tetapi kita tak ada pun dalam ucapan tu kata kita gagal certain things. But definitely we are not failures. Kita tidak gagal. Kita banyak benda yang telah kita achieve, tetapi we could have been better. You know, ada banyak perkara yang kita sebenarnya boleh jauh lebih baik. Strong basis for greater improvement. Because if we start saying we are on the track and we are happy with it, kita tak pun fikir that kita gagal, kita tak akan nak buat perubahan. So the whole idea of saying that we may do better, it becomes a source for greater improvement that we need to do. Alright. Kalau saya tanya semua kita di sini, which part yang kita rasa ada lagi kelemahan yang kita perlu perbaiki? Ada tak orang di sini yang berani kata tak ada, semua dah perfect. Everything is perfect dah sekarang ni. Saya tak payah nak ubah apa-apa dah. Kalau saya ubah lagi rosak. But I'm sure definitely we cannot say something like that. Ya tak? Makna dia ada lagi. At least the word yang saya sebut tadi, agile, you know. Saya rasa agility ni masih kurang. Sekurang-kurangnya. Now, UMK must gain financial independence. Kalau kita tidak ada financial independence, kita akan always been meddled with, especially from the outside. Dan ada banyak obstacle yang saya sebutkan tadi. There are many targets on higher education which are frequently contradictory at least sepanjang kita beroperasi 17 years now, we are didedahkan, we are exposed to a lot of changes, contradictory pula tu, kadang-kadang kata macam ni dan tiba-tiba kata macam ni, you know. So but we have to live with it. So these are in trying to make difference, but definitely we are on the receiving end. As a public university, we are in the receiving end. Sama ada kita, you know, just shrug it a little bit and then follow it or altogether or just fudge them, you know. Sebab kadang-kadang kita kata, I've got not much choice, you know. Terima sajalah. Itu ketetapan. We have to go through. But the most important thing yang saya observe, which I observe ialah, we do not have the right people for the right job at that time. And it went on at least until saya retire. At least saya until retire. We want some people right to do the right job, but we do not have. You know, majority of us are young. That time lagi lah young. Yang ada first degree pun ramai. Tak ada master pun ada. But we got no choice. Betul tak? Dr. Ika, you was with me. Masa tu Dr. Dini was with me. Saya nak lantik apa pun tak boleh. Because dia tak ada master, dia nak exam, nak jadikan pensyarah pun tak boleh. So, you know, that is the most challenging and tough part. Tapi kita tahu, if I keep on mengeluh that time, veterinary school will not appear. You know, kalau saya terus kata tak boleh, vet school tak akan wujud. Contoh, ada banyak lagi perkara lain. Because vet school tu was a tall order. Take it or leave it, something like that. Kalau you leave it, we'll give it to UMT and UNIZA. I kata no, I take it. Sama juga dengan ECER. Take it or leave it. Saya kata walaupun kita tak ada tempat pun, saya kata no, I'll take it. Cik Bat was the first PP was the pen who's responsible for ISA. Saya tahu, saya tak ada orang. Saya kata saya tak ada orang nak tolong. Orang pun tak ada, tempat pun tak ada. Saya jumpa Azlina. Puan Azlina. Dia kata ada calon inilah Bat ni lah. And he did wonders for ECR masa tu. Okay. So those are the things that, but most important thing, we need academic talent pool, you know. Talent pool ini sangat penting, which we do not have that time. And at least, you know, in some faculties, I observe it sampai saya retire. Tapi in the sciences, alhamdulillah, things were not as bad as this side of the state, di Bachok ni. You know, di Jeli sana, tak ada lah teruk sangat. Sampai sekarang, I know FBKT 100% dah ada PhD. So, tak ada masalah besar dah. So, no, we are building the talent pool, tapi still inadequate. Now, the long answer for entrepreneurial is to gain financial independence, you know. If you want to do entrepreneurial betul, it is still financial independence. Maknanya kita tak boleh. We know we've got a center entrepreneurship, tetapi what can be done if you have limited budget to run the entrepreneurial center? Because entrepreneurial center ni, you know, one example ialah yang Prof Murtaza visited Spain masa tu. Apa university? Dragon something bunyi macam tu kan? Apa university apa? Which is real entrepreneurial. Everything is entrepreneurial. Business semua alam tu ada semua serbi. That is the way forward. I think we should see. What we cannot do because it costs money. It costs a lot of money to run something like that. Innovation center dalam tu ada semacam-macam. You know, people come to look for innovation di university through that center because they are all there. Entrepreneurship need uniqueness, environment, strong impact. University lacks freedom. Leadership crisis lack creativity and innovativeness. We have leadership crisis. Nobody can deny that. whatever is again related to political issues. Deprivation of basic infrastructure, contribution, strong, impactful, linkages, collaboration, which is very outcome based. I remember kita nak jual UMK ni. We've got a lot of MOUs. Saya rasa we used to gather, Dr. Hafiz, gather like something like hundreds of MOUs yang kita pernah sign dalam period of 6-7 years. Beratus MOU. Tapi semua tak bergerak. You know, dia tak ada outcome. One big reason because the partner tu, yes, mula-mula terpikat lah dengan cerita kita, bla 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 bla. Tapi bila dia datang tak ada apa, dia pun macam sepi lah sikit. Itu yang, that's why kalau kena ada benda dulu, that is what we have to show. You know, showcase. Supaya hubungan ini boleh berkekalan. Kalau tak ada benda, orang lari. You know, that is what happening. So what I did was kita kena do scanning lah. Pilih yang mana hidup, yang mana mati, yang buang. Dan finally we got only about 10 shortlisted yang kita present it kepada board. Because board minta berapa sebenarnya linkages yang aktif dan beneficial yang ada outcome. Okay, so that is also important. Are we ready to be great? Kita bersedia ke tak sebenar? It's again question now. Now these are the things, renowned figures in university. Do we have people who can, you know, drag the university forward? I guna istilah drag, walaupun susah kita kena tarik juga. Tapi do we have that person in university to do it? You know, siapa renowned figures yang kita boleh jadikan people who will bring the change tu. Kita kena identify. And that is all the talent management is all about. Bakat, bakat yang kita maksudkan. Now, in trying to make difference, saya sebut reputation tadi. It's actually, kita worry, sebab kita trend, kita nak masuk rank. We have to masuk rank, of course. Masuk rank. Now, the QS World University Ranking ni, dia punya kriteria ni macam ni. I'm sure you know kan. Dia punya academic reputation. We're talking about reputation. Saya dah define tadi reputation. 40%. Employer punya reputation pun ada markah 10%. Terkenal ke tak kita university as an institution ni sebagai distinctive sangat dia punya excellence. Student to faculty ratio, research citation per faculty, proportion of international faculty, and proportion of international student. Now they are the last 5% ni related to mungkin academic, you know. But these are, you know, they are used to rank the university, and reputation itu membawa erti yang besar. Sebab itu all universities, larger universities like Cambridge semua tu, dia ada reputation, bukan dia asal bagus, you know. Kalau Harvard, for example, dia bagus in certain area, the science are very bad. They are not good. You know, tetapi oleh kerana dalam bidang tertentu dia dah renowned reputation, dia dah memang bagus, they got that 40%. You take for example our universities RUs. Dia dapat markah banyak dekat bawah tu, dekat research citation semua tu. But over a period of time, investment have been made untuk research ni, they manage to accumulate the research publication and so on and so forth. Dia ada banyak di situ. So these are things that digunakan. Now, some people think that there are a lot of negative implication because seperti saya kata tadi, it's not one factor that decide the academic excellence. Ada banyak factor yang contribute, you know, yang determine the facilities, etc., etc. You cannot have international faculty members if you do not have support system. You know, I remember when I was the dean, a Japanese professor wants to come and work with us. And the first question dia tanya, do you have international school for my children in Kota Baru? So my answer is, yes, we have dekat Telipuk tu, international school. Tetapi that bangunan, bangunan sekolah international, so to call itu, ialah sekolah seorang guru, nama dia Mr. apa saya tak ingat. I always remember Mr. Hammer because Mr. Hammer was my chemistry teacher when I was dekat Malay College. Dia bukan Hammer, nama dia tapi dia masuk Islam. Nama dia Johan Arif. Rumah dia tu dijadikan international school sekarang. That's the only international school and the quality of education is tak boleh. Bila pergi tengok tak sesuai untuk dia masukkan. Dia kata no, I don't think I will join UMK because tak ada facility like that. Simple aja. Dia nak tanya, nothing to do with us, international school. Tapi that is a factor that contribute to ranking ini. Kalau tidak nak dapat international faculty, macam mana kalau tak ada support system for them as well? You know, and we as a young university, definitely we will not be able to do that. So there are negative impacts. So criteria ni dia tidak measure impact of the university at all. What have the university cost throughout its existence to the community, for example? It does not measure in the ranking. So sebab itulah, tetapi we will have to play the game because that is the trend yang sedang berlaku. If you are outranked, for example, if you are not ranked, then people don't know you more. So kita kena participate. Tetapi jadikan itu sebagai cara untuk menambah baik kalau kita rank lower. You know, means kita punya reputation masih tak berapa bagus, kita punya international student tak berapa banyak lagi, kita punya international faculty pun tak cukup lagi, kita punya student to faculty ratio pun masih tidak berapa memuaskan. It means like that kalau kita tidak rank well. So jadikan itu, you use that as the reason, justification for us to work better for the future. So that is the issue of ranking. So makna dia, kita tak payah worry, tetapi we have to work for it. It's not about trying to meet the ranking, tetapi we have to work to improve it. Menteri pun dah kata ranking bukan matlamat terpenting universiti. It is not the thing that is most important for the university to boast around. Tukar dah menteri, itulah. So dia pun, nanti dia kata macam lain pula. You know, very dynamic, very volatile. Mungkin dia akan kata, no, ranking is going to be the most important thing. Siapa ranking tinggi? Siapa ranking tinggi dapat more budget. Lagi masalah. Now, tapi banyaklah bercerita, especially dekat UIA punya cerita, kejar ranking sudah tidak relevan. Ranking kita ditipu selama ini. You know, these are all reports, Kalau nak baca, there's a lot of them. Now, so for the future, entrepreneurial university ini, which kita aspires to be the best in ASEAN by 2026, sebab to be the best in Malaysia 2023 dah lepas dah. Dan kita dah dapat. You all dah dapat. So kita dah dapat. Asia by 2030 and global in the future. The 6 strategic masih relevant ialah yang ini. The 6. Kita kena be excellent, flexibility, future proof, saya dah sebut dah, strengthening research, championing entrepreneurship agenda in a different way. Sebab semua orang cerita pasal entrepreneurship. Di mana? Di universiti yang bukan declare entrepreneurship pun, dia bercerita entrepreneurship. Agenda KPT entrepreneurship pun cut across, tak kata UMK sahaja pun. So, dengan demikian, kita kena lebih lagi lain daripada yang lain. Apa lagi yang boleh kita buat lain daripada yang lain? Development of infra, especially on digital infrastructure, manpower and human talents. Kita guna istilah bakat, talent, because these are the people that we need. Financial sustainability is going to be something very big, and income generation, and also community, serving community, and also conservation of the environment. What does the 6 trust means? It means that we have to stay competitive. Semua ini, menggunakan trust ini. UMK must turn to inter-multidisciplinary collaboration, including institutional transformation. We need some kind of transformation. Where do we transform? We need leaders. We need leaders. You know, we need academic leaders. We need research leaders apart from organizational leaders. We need talents and unique skills. Kita nak talent and skills. We need the right people. Again, saya nak reiterate, walaupun dah berapa belas tahun dah, 17 campur 4, 20 tahun dah. 17 tu termasuk 4 tahun ini kan. 17 tahun sudah. Saya masih tekankan bukan calang-calang orang yang boleh datang ke universiti. Bear that in mind. When you come to university, you can stand tall and say that I am one out of many more, you know, outside there. Because bukan calang-calang orang yang boleh masuk jadi pensyarah di universiti. Jadi ahli akademik, bukan pensyarah. Sebab kalau guna istilah pensyarah, dia akan kata saya nak bersyarah aja. Sebab tu kita kena guna ahli akademik, you know, so that they know what it means. You know? We have to innovate. Kita kena kreatif semua ni. Ada dalam entrepreneurial. But how much have been very innovative and creative? Most importantly, we have to work together. Kita kena kerja bersama-sama. Kita kena kerja sama. Kerja bersama-sama dan kerja sama tak sama. Tetapi they mean something the same. That we have to work together, help each other. We cannot work alone. Jangan fikir kita boleh bekerja sendirian. There's no man an island. We have to get past the competitive nature of our work. Benda yang dah lepas tu tak usahlah dikenang sangat. You know, yang dah tak bagus awal-awal tu tak usah duk fikir. Especially the orang yang lama sikit lah, yang dah melalui kesusahan. Tidak fikir, walaupun kita selalu ingatkan, you know, when these senior people like myself would say to the young one and say, you kena bersyukur, you tak boleh nak complain so much. You know, when I was dulu, iyalah betul lah, sebab saya lahir dahulu. Saya kena lalui lah itu dulu. Kalau tidak, siapa yang nak lalu tu kalau bukan saya, ya tak? Tetapi it should not be an excuse. You kena guna kesempatan yang ada. Because in the future, you akan kata the same thing. Dulu masa saya. Sekarang budak masa tu pensyarah dah, cerita lain dah. Okay? We have to partner on operational matters. Rethink the future of the world as a fluid compilation of skills to be leveraged as the world around us is going to change. Tak boleh lari dah. You cannot deny that. Okay? And then leaders prioritize revenue diversification. This is again the sixth thrust to makna dia. As a result, higher education leaders must think creatively how to diversify revenue. Need to provide the best and relevant education system for mankind. Apa dia sebenarnya education yang relevant for mankind ini? Now, student population kita bercerita, especially in the sciences, dia makin kurang. Kita kena redefine the meaning of providing services to ensure success through their lives. Services kepada pelajar ni. We do not have to worry about, saya kata tadi, saya lah personally, because saya pun tak jaga job employability, graduate itu HCP punya orang. Tetapi still I have the feeling that we have to provide the best, then don't worry about what is going to happen. I think once a while kita kena fikirlah ulat dalam batu pun boleh hidup, punya cerita ni. Ya tak? Kalau kita duk fikir, saya ni at my age now, saya selalu kita pergi ada ceramah, banks will invite me, you know, to go and listen to program yang dia cerita pasal harta pusaka. Tapi at the end of the talk dia kata, you do not have to worry about your children. You just enjoy your retire ni, you tua ni, enjoy your life. You tak payah nak fikir dia pasal budak, anak-anak. Dia akan ada rezekinya sendiri. Jangan duk fikir nak kerja kuat sebab nak tinggalkan pusaka. Tak payah, dia kata. They will know what to do when the time comes because Allah dah tetapkan rezeki mereka. Tapi kita ni trying to play God. We are worried about not just our children, kita worry about our student. Ada kerja ke tidak. Ini kan jadi KPI. Tetapi graduate employability does not just mean that we provide the best dekat sini. They are sure of a job outside because there are a lot of other factors yang kita tak boleh kawal. But we will do our best. Student demand changed. You know, learning level must be met to the digital. Tapi bagi kita, student first. Values and traits that will brand UMK. Makna dia, kalau orang pergi interview, student, the employer will say, oh, budak-budak UMK tak ada masalah, you know, they are gini pun dah successful. Whether they get the job or not, we brand our student well, and insyaAllah they will be recruited. Embracing change to include not just technology but also in digital transformation, but a lot of other transformation juga diperlukan. Change that are relevant, unique, futuristic, and finally the community. Now, possible reason kalau kita tidak bagi keutamaan, kita akan hadapi masalah in 2030 ialah the overhead cost too high and pricing competition. You know, on campus versus distant education, we will be talking about it as well. You know, cost is going to increase yearly. In fact, now semua serba dah mahal. Yuran pengajian pun mahal. Nak naik yuran bukan senang. Cerita yang panjang dan bergaduh-gaduh. Kan? You know, these are experience that we have had over the years and it's going to escalate. Dia bukan mengurang. You know, substandard class lab semua ada classes yang tak berapa bagus, ada kuliah, ada facility yang tak bagus. Begitu juga dengan kualiti pensyarah. Semua ini kalau tidak ditangani, by 2030 you're going to face a lot of and a bad future lah. Digital transformation tu semua tu kena start now. I know Wan Azli is doing a good job. Banyak saya dah tengok that new things are coming, but there are a lot of tools in teaching and learning that has got to be introduced to the academics. Poor talent management and tenure is threatened, you know, and faculty are dissatisfied. You know, there are tenureship yang mungkin kita kena lihat balik. For example, I don't know, but this is again related to financial constraint. If you have money, you can retain. If you don't have money, you cannot retain. International staff, for example, banyak yang nak kena stop because dah sampai masa satu cerita, and ada masa kita tak ada duit nak bela mereka lagi dah. Declining enrollment, certain areas ada enrollment yang decline. Is it the program is bad ataupun is it student has different preference? What are they looking for? Kita kena tahu. Mengapa study dah banyak buat program kelas tarian, for example, at that time when I was the dean. When we first started, it was renowned. Dia sangat terkenal because UKM nak buat kelas tarian tak dapat. Kementerian tak benarkan. Dia hanya ditawarkan di peringkat sarjana. Tetapi kita tawarkan peringkat ijazah pertama. Dia MV dengan kita. Tapi malangnya ramai tak faham apa kelas program kelestarian. Bukan kelas tarian. It's not a dancing class. It is sustainable. You know, sustainable. And sustainable di situ bukan bermakna hanya environment. There's a lot of other sustainability that you have to take care of dalam, and you use science for it. Tapi masih tak faham hingga Dr. Awing ni masa tu terpaksa tukar kepada kelestarian alam sekitar. We are not just talking about alam sekitar, we talk about social, kelestarian social. Kita juga talk about kelestarian economy. Economy, social and environment. Tapi sekarang dah narrow down, dia dah jadi bidang alam sekitar. Dia tak jadi lagi dah kelestarian. Nama aja kelestarian tetapi dia dah jadi bidang alam sekitar. So this is a failure to me because you fail to convince lestari. You talk about a lot of issues yang sebenarnya yang pertaining the thing sekarang ini pasal bidang itu sendiri. Let me just Tak apa. Online relationship, political intervention, ini yang kita worry because political intervention and meddle leading to undesirable leadership. You know, leader tu dah bagus dah. Tetapi oleh kerana terlalu terpengaruh dengan kehendak politik, dia bertukar arah. Dia tidak seperti yang kita hasratkan. Okay? Poor leadership, poor governance is also, if you do not take care of this, it is going to be facing problems by 20. Now, last but not least, saya juga tekankan kepada poor reward system because reward system is also important untuk boost up kita punya team. We have to have a good reward system. And I remember when I was in USM, that is the reason why Sangha Sanjung was established. You know what is Sangha Sanjung di USM yang graduate from USM? It was actually coming from a discussion on the reward system yang tidak berapa attractive for the team, so dia create this and reward dalam banyak kategori, berbagai kategori yang dipanggil malam Sanggar Sanjung. Alright, not just research tetapi in all areas, services, semua inclusive. Okay, so academic, non-academic gets rewarded and get appreciated. Very important. And sebab kita tak mau people feel distress, you know, I mean, kita rasa macam lemah sikit lah, tak ada orang hargai. You know lah, manusia ni dia kenalah juga puji sikit kan, dia tak, kalau asyik nak je kita expect pula telinga all the time, tak ada pun nak basuhkan telinga tu, masalah sikit lah. Okay, but I think that it's important. But still, you have to remember they are also in relation to cuba nak fikir pasal benda-benda itu, ada juga development dalam yang kita sekarang ini kena fikir. I don't want to read, some of them are redundant. You know, I just like to have number 7, for example. We need more excellent professors. We need more excellent academician. Yang you know, kita tahu mereka habis term, katalah pencen. But if they are excellent, kita kena fight all out so that they are retained, you know, because if you suddenly drop them out until you get the new one, you are going to leave a big hole somewhere in the system. Sebab itu I'm in the favor of thinking that tenureship ni is an issue sebenarnya, and it is a way that walaupun it is going to be against, kadang-kadang tu betul lah. I remember one of our professor yang kita terpaksa terminate sebab umur dia 67 and 66 masa tu. So kita tak boleh exceed 65. It's a rule JPA punya rule. Tetapi we can go on hiring him kalau kita ada duit. Tapi malangnya kita tak ada duit. Jadi dia pun kena berhentilah, and we lost somebody in food ruminant food untuk animal nutrition dekat vet, and he's a good one. He's a nationally renowned punya professor lah, if you know Professor, siapa nama dia, Zahari. Dia bagus lah, tapi kita kehilangan food nutrition masa tu. Tapi nak buat macam mana, tenure dah sampai dah, tetapi still at university tenureship should not be a problem actually. Okay, we have to reposition therefore affordable education, innovation in higher education. We have to foresee experiential learning and entrepreneurship education is our prime forward. Scientific innovation with new technologies, and finally academic leadership. Saya tambah depan tu digital, because sekarang ni serba-serbi dah nak kena digital. So leaders pun kena appreciate it. Tak boleh ada leader yang turn around and say, look, I tak boleh jadi dekan, I tak reti komputer. For example, no, cannot. Serba-serbi dah gini, so it has to be like that. Tapi the younger generation dia tak ada masalah. I'm talking probably during that time when our zaman yang kita tak adalah bagus dalam bidang tersebut. Now Now, if you want to then create that possible future, now you have to fikir apa nak jadi. Yang bulat-bulat di sekeliling itu, the round ones itu, saya letak, if based on my survey that I ask my staff, kalaulah future apa yang you nak UMK looks like. Dia kata, we want to have a dynamic and global academic structure. You know, tenureshipnya, academic structure yang cara belajar, dia kata, in the future. Dia kata juga, university with national and international impact. Ada impact kepada community and environment. Dan orang lain pula kata, university with impactful and commercializable research outcome and innovation. You know, tetapi they are all thinking aloud lah, maknanya dia benda-benda yang bagus seperti inilah. Financial sustainable university. Asyik-asyik tak ada duit aja. Nak pergi tu, nak potong ni, sampaikan kat klinik pun kena potong. You know, saya pergi ambil ubat saya selepas saya retire, saya dapat darah tinggi. Instead, masa kerja tak dapat darah tinggi, tapi masa kerja dapat darah tinggi. So saya selalu visit klinik. Dulu dia bagi every 2 months dia bagi ubat untuk saya. Sekarang ni saya kena pergi after every 20 days. Saya kata, kenapa? Tak kuatlah saya nak datang tiap-tiap 20 hari nak ambil ubat. Dia kata tak boleh sebab sekarang ni hanya layak RM100 saja sekali datang. Jadi kos ubat tu tak boleh exceed RM100. Saya kata, kenapa? Kalau datang pun sama aja, time aja. Dia kata begitulah sebab kita nak cut budget. Saya kata sampai klinik pun dah affected, kata. Saya kata tak apalah kalau dah demikian saya datang kerap. Nah, 100 esok saya datang lagi, so saya kena dapat. But anyway, that is not the joke aside. Tapi benarlah. So every 20 days saya pergilah ambil saya punya valsatan tu di klinik Pekalan Cepa, because dia tak boleh ambil 2 months ahead. Alright. And then dia kata kita nak jadi entrepreneur university, tetapi kita nak kena ada distinct feature. I remember at that time I used to talk about entrepreneurship lecture. Kita nak seperti gini, kita masuk dalam kampus tu, kita rasa, you know, this is entrepreneurial university. Kalau kita tanya orang yang masuk ke UMK, do you feel that we are entrepreneurial university? Pernah tak kita tanya? Tapi di Mondragon University tu, ya saya ingat dah, Mondragon tu, masuk tu you rasa tau. Sebab kedai dia di sebelah itu, budak situ, bank ada situ, everything. Business, university punya services are all done by, you know, students semua ada business. So masuk tu dah, we wanted to do the same thing because sebenarnya di Bachok ni, di tengah-tengah campus tu yang dekat roundabout tu supposed to be a mall. Student entrepreneurial mall. Tetapi the leaders go and change the plan, master plan tu. Hilangkan itu. Kita kata kenapa dihilangkan? We want that place, we want that symbol. Kita nak panggil entrepreneurial mall. So that bila masuk tu kita rasa that entrepreneurial feeling tu. Tapi bila dah tak ada mall, tak ada roundabout tu, dah tak ada dah rasa tu. Wani ingat lagi ke tak dah? Tapi masa itulah saya, masa tu pengarah kampus. Itu saya bergaduh lah, saya kata I'm not going to change my campus. Saya tak akan ubah apa-apa pun dalam kampus. Walaupun kita tak ada mall, tapi I will try to build short lots or something like that. Duit pula tak ada. Duit tak ada, tapi depan tu kita dah bina lah sikit. So these are the things, you know, we want to feel distinct feature. Lagu mana kita nak buat? Supaya bila masuk, bila bercakap dengan Dr. Najmi, oh, ni betul-betul entrepreneurial. Bukan normal aja, oh itu masalah ni masalah. You know, entrepreneurial attributes, one of them ialah dia tidak complain, dia tidak ada masalah. Beres, boleh dibuat. Beres, boleh dibuat. Walaupun tak ada benda pun, itulah fahaman saya. Sebab tu bila disuruh buat vet school, boleh. Walaupun tak ada orang. Saya tahu, saya aja yang sains masa tu. Saya aja, saya kata nak buat macam mana ni. Tak ada siapa nak boleh interfere sebab they do not have the expertise. But we know very well that we can sort a lot of places, pergi UPM tu, naik majlis vet Malaysia and so on and so forth. You can do it. So that is entrepreneur. So bercakap dengan dia, dia daripada UMK, semua boleh, something like that. Biar that kind of remarks, you know. So, tetapi you kena ingat that UMK ni sebuah institusi pendidikan tinggi. Dia ada peranan dia. You must remember what is UMK, apa peranan dia. You kena ingat apakah peranan-peranan UMK di masa hadapan. You masih kena tahu apakah peranan UMK untuk pendidikan tinggi. Cannot leave it because itu dasar. Tetapi nak buat secara lain itu remain confined to the role and definition of a university. Now it has to be unique, excellent, itu satu cara. Tetapi kena ingat kita nak kita punya DNA sendiri. DNA entrepreneurship tu kekal kita pertahankan. We have to be referred untuk retain reputation, respect and juga relevant. Kita pun cerita ini, 3R ni. Cuma kita kata kita kena relevant, berbeza dan unik. Okay. Kita nak jadi change advocator, engine, bukan setakat change itu, kita nak juga jadi engine untuk perubahan. Dan akhir sekali, we want to be a global citizen. Kita punya alumni, kita punya student, actually is global citizen. Maknanya dia bila dia graduate from sini, dekat Alaska pun, dia laku. Dekat mana-mana tempat dia pergi pun, dia laku. So this is a rough picture. Now, let's look at the quadrat. Ini future studies, you know. Berdasarkan segala perkara yang telah saya terangkan, with all due things that I have explained previously as the preamble, you can design your future. And one of the tool yang mudah, because this is a tool yang mudah difahami. Dia ada back forecasting, dia ada metaphorical punya approach, you know, to do future study. I can talk on a different time untuk lihat tool ini. But I'm going to use this quadrat punya because it's basic, it's simple. You know, quadrat ni wujud dengan menceritakan what is our objective, our target. For example, kita cerita academic autonomy. We want academic autonomy. And the other one, kita tahu that kita punya academic is actually commanded, controlled by the ministry. Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, kita boleh buat ni. Now, if you look at this quadrat, you see that sekira kita mahu academic autonomy dan kita nak ianya global, so these are the things that we have to do. Okay, yang saya buat di tepi ni. Here. Nah? And kalau kita rasa kita nak localize, local within the country, tetapi masih dikawal oleh ministry, then this is the thing that will happen. Traditional methodology, centralized, localized syllabus, school-based system, you know, dan juga political incline, because it is very led by the ministry and control and command. So this is, jadi yang kita mahu seperti yang saya dah bincangkan previously, we want academic autonomy. At the same time, we want to go global. So these are the things that you have to do. So put this as our target untuk our future. Alright, this is one. Now, if you look at that quadrant, you'll find that these are the characteristics of the students, academic staffs, as well as university. The students should expect fully flexible education, tangible outcomes, experience learning process, dan students decide the system of education. Pelajar yang menentukan. Dan akhir sekali, they want attributes that dia boleh gain, acquire after going through the process. Bagi academic staff, they has to be technology and digital savvy, entrepreneurial educators, new teaching model, new skills, dan segalanya. These are the characteristics that they have to have. And the university should be prepared to provide what is di sini. facilities, graduate employability less concern. We do not have to worry because the future, seperti yang kita kata tadi, and the student demands what they want to be, and we expect to have all the attributes that they have to acquire. We are not worried about graduate employability in the future. Now, if you ask ministry, because if it's ministry-led, ministry akan bimbang. But if you use the kuadrat yang tidak dikawal oleh ministry, the yellow ones kata, we don't worry because kita bagi the best for the student. And they pandai-pandai lah cari peluang untuk hidup masa hadapan. Tapi kalau kita dictated, we don't know. Kita ikut dasar keusahawanan negara, kita, sedangkan dasar kita sepatutnya lebih hebat daripada dasar keusahawanan itu. Tapi lebih kurang kita ikutlah sebab kita kena comply berapa persen student companies, berapa persen lecturer terlibat dalam business, that statistic. By right, if they say 20%, kita kena 100% student companies on campus. Bagi saya 100%. And I try to advocate that idea, tak berapa laku because it's difficult. No. Dan attributes pun we used to measure. Macam mana you define a student who's creative and innovative? How do you define a student yang ada ciri entrepreneurship, brave for example, berani menghadapi risiko? How do you measure? PKPA. Menghayal lah awak. Awak terpersona dengan ceramah saya ke ataupun? Macam mana nak ukur? Hingga kini boleh ukur tak? Ialah dalam PLO, but in reality, can you tell a student who is risk-taking? Okay, one of the, no, I said sign up secara personally, if I take an individual. Macam mana you tell? Boleh tell tak? How to measure? Sebab mostly they are in groups. Kalau dalam curriculum tu, you tulis PLO semua kan. Still, these are the things that the center should be doing. To really make sure that you really distinctively be able to measure all initiatives seperti itu. Okay, so saya dah sebut tadi. Again, the proposed model yang saya dah publish actually, you can read this dekat chapter 3, the role of higher education in creating an entrepreneurial Malaysia. This is a collaborative authorship, penulisan bersama buku ni diedit oleh University Uni Razak. But the model is seperti lebih kurang gini. Makna dia student kena engage, university kena engage, staff pun kena engage, dan juga community dan industri pun kena terlibat dalam menentukan agenda entrepreneurship of the university. It's not just one man show. Okay. Now in Thailand, for example, the central government dia tak jaga sangat HEI ni. Dia ada seperti kita tadi, dia ada Suruhanjaya Commission. Jadi tak ada lah hanky-panky things yang ditekan kepada university. Whether that is something that we want to look or not, itu we did discuss actually, but this is in Thailand. In the case of Indonesia, ada banyak public universities now they are given autonomous like us, and dia amalkan autonomy itu. Kita tak berapa guna autonomous itu. These are example yang terdekatlah, termasuklah freedom kepada HEIs ini dan juga Board of Studies for example in academia, and also melibatkan academia dan juga stakeholders. Then another one, you look also in research innovation. The same quadrant, sama ada impact kepada menjana kekayaan ataupun memberi impact kepada kehidupan. Research yang kita buat ni. Kalau maksudnya yang teknologi yang kita buat itu kita dapat jana pendapatan, that means we are talking about wealth creation. Tetapi adakah teknologi itu mempengaruhi kualiti kehidupan? Kalau kita create, for example, pistol, a technology, dia boleh kaya sebab sekarang orang suka berperang, tak? People likes to go to war, so you need amenities like that. Tetapi does it affect the quality of life? It is not going to be good, tak? So contohlah tu, maknanya it is an innovation, but do we want that kind of innovation in the future, which will affect the quality? Tapi yang kita nak, we get duit banyak, at the same time kehidupan pun bertambah baik dengan teknologi itu. So that is the kind of research that we want. Low impact, or so these are the things yang tengah-tengah ni what need to be done. Kalaulah nak dapat duit banyak, at the same time perbaiki quality of life, relevant, innovative, commercializable, prioritized funding, accountable governance, community industry involvement kena ada, ketidak masalah teknologi dan sebagainya, dan ini memberi gambaran. Again, when we talk about income generation, saya nak quote, this is event yang berlaku in 2015. Prime Minister masa tu was Najib. Dia kata di majlis bersama warga pendidik tinggi di Universiti Putra, di UPM. Dia kata universiti kena cari duit sendiri, jangan bergantung kepada government. Do not rely too much on government assistance. We have to assist the government to find financial resources in managing the university. Dah disebut. He said university must take steps in advancing tertiary institution to achieve, higher education access to 2.5 million students by 2025, which is 2 years down the road. 2.5 million students. Tapi nak tampung 2.25 juta pelajar in 2025 tu, we need money, scholarship dia, facilities, a lot of money needed. And if you don't talk about looking for extra money, you cannot support that number of students. Nak ambil ramai tak boleh, tak ada ruang, tak ada duit nak bela mereka. Therefore, I hope the university will start looking for ways, for example, like monetizing its asset. Asset ni makna yang kekayaan, harta yang kita ada, kena guna sebaik mungkin, cari duit. Okay. Benda ni in 2015, so based on this, kita start PMO, masa Datuk Murtaza was the VC, kita call financial sustainability. Tapi bila lepas Datuk Murtaza siapa? Husaini. This PMO dipadamkan. You don't sustain, things that are important. Earlier in his speech, the Minister of Mohe, Khalid Nordin, masa tu juga, said he said that Mohe ni kementerian paling bijak, smartest ministry, because orangnya pandai-pandai. But Najib retaliate and say, you should use that intelligence to look for money. Bukan hanya kata PhD bla bla in finance, in accounting, tapi sibuk pasal cerita tak ada duit. You call yourself smart. Okay? PhD berapa ramai, semua PhD. Tapi you cannot find your own money. What is the intelligent part of it? Okay? So that's why Najib say, let's see how smart you are. So dia templak lah macam kan. Let's see how smart you are. Help the finance ministry to find financial resources. That was the speech yang Najib. So meaning to say that looking for money ni is a big agenda. Bukan baru, bukan sekarang. And dia tak pernah berubah. Cuma inisiatif di universiti itu tak pernah dijadikan satu agenda yang paling besar. There was no way that the university stand up and say, look, we have to look for money. And in the speech by the minister, previous minister lah, bukan Khalid lah. UMK ni is entrepreneurial. Mencari duit tu sepatutnya tidak ada masalah. Tetapi bolehkah kita buat? We try. Contohnya, saya dah pernah write a paper dengan approval JPA untuk membenarkan pensyarah berniaga, do business to get money. Malangnya, board tolak. Bukannya JPA tolak. JPA hanya kata kalau dia tidak mengganggu kita punya kerja, teruskan. Tetapi board kita pula tolak. Jadi tak boleh nak implement. So, sebab itulah kita kata tadi command led semua itu mengganggu kita. Okay. Now, Prof Arham dah sebut impact of budget cut ni banyak benda yang, tapi hakikatnya nobody is serious. My observation for the last 30 years, tapi awal-awal tahun masa saya mula bekerja, ada orang cakap pasal income generation. It was in masa saya dah profesor di USM tu, orang bermula bercerita, dan the last 13 years I spent in UMK tu pun orang bercerita pasal income generation. But nobody is serious. Nobody is serious. FASA, kenal FASA lah. FASA was the first faculty to start a company. Called apa? Nature's Wealth ke apa ke? Nah, yang Prof Lee Seong Wei was supposed to lead that time. Tapi malangnya, tidak boleh register. Tidak boleh register sebab universiti tak ada syarikat sendiri pun lagi masa tu. Jadi takkanlah FASA nak register syarikat pula. But we think that we should start thinking, because saya dengar banyak cerita pasal income generation should start. Tapi university did not take any serious look into it. Now, there's a lot of things impact kalau kita kena budget cut. Tak boleh buat itu macam saya kata tadi, tenureship, pensyarah yang bagus kita tak boleh sambung. Many, less for research, less for academic activities, tak boleh, I know at one time people are talking about nak pergi field work pun kena kerat. Betul tak? Anis, nak pergi field work for FSB pun kena potong because tak cukup duit. Nak pergi banyak kali lah, pergi sekali-sekala tu okey lah, nak pergi banyak kali tak boleh. Kena dalam kelas saja. Now, so you need money, you need money. Then in the future, it is predicted it is going to be worse. Therefore, if you look at country yang cerita pasal support daripada government, Malaysia 80% dah kita bergantung kepada kerajaan. Singapore 70%, Australia the less, semua tu dah 30-40%, United Kingdom 20%. Maknanya dia mereka cari duit sendirilah nak survive. And they are in the rank. Sedangkan kita yang support fully ni masih tak cukup duit. Masih kita kata we are underfunded. Mohe Ministry Higher Education for 2024, 16.4 billion will be allocated. Jadi makna dia kalau kita tengok this is public money. Jadi one of the roles sepatutnya ialah kita punya strong public responsibility and juga obligation. Kita kena bertanggungjawab ke atas duit yang begini banyak, yang kita masih rasa tak cukup. Now, it is worrying because people talk about business acumen. Tadi Prof Arham juga sebut business acumen. Who cares about trying to make academic having this skill, business acumen, when you are actually funded strongly, 80%. Jadi nobody worries lah. Somehow or the other, we will be able to support. Sebab kita 80% duit akan diberi untuk kita punya keperluan. Nak cari 20% tu, alah sambil tak payah serius lah. Tak payah serius, sambil-sambil pun boleh dapat kan. Tapi kalau kita dapat cuma say 40%, 60% kena cari, then probably we will be serious. Probably we will be serious. Nah, 20% yang tidak diberi itu datang daripada mainly ialah student fee. Student fee. Jadi top up jadi 100%. So there's nothing to worry about money sebenarnya kalau kita tengok. Tapi that is the rhetoric. Tak cukup duit, tak cukup duit, tak cukup duit. Sebab itu people are not serious. 16.4 billion for one ministry. Now, business acumen saya kata tadi, you don't have to. We want business acumen, yes, the skill that we want. Tetapi when are we going to apply it? Bila kita tidak ada opportunity. Now, there are ways that you have to find money, commercialization, business venture. Ada banyak cara sebenarnya, monetizing your asset, you know. And saya cuba senarai. We did some of them, not very successful, but still, if we are serious, I think insyaAllah it can be done. I strongly believe that we can do it, untuk cari duit, you know. I had the opportunity dekat Jeli, we managed to get money, but dekat sini I'm not very sure. But when we were in Jeli, orang Jeli ramai ni, we tahu kita tak ada masalah duit sebenarnya, because bila saya pindah jadi TNCPI pun, kita bawa banyak duit daripada Jeli ke TNCPI punya cover. Okay. Again, kita nak jadi global player ke, dan dalam masa sama kita nak jadi leader. Ataupun kita nak jadi cuma jago kampung, tetapi pakar dalam bidang-bidang tertentu, niche. Which is which? Okay, this is issue of global and juga a leader. Macam kita kata kita rank bidang apa? Berapa? Bidang physical sciences, engineering. Rank ke berapa? Saya pun tak ingat. You know, that is towards being a leader globally, because it is global ranking. Itu maksudnya, global player dan leader. But this is a very strong approach that you have to have a lot of quality international collaboration, you know, because to be recognized. Nah, another one yang saya nak sentuh juga tadi ialah pasal income generation juga, tetapi terhadap banyak dan kualitatif dengan kuantitatif, terhadap impact kepada human values dan juga well-being, nilai-nilai kita ni. Kita punya Timur, cara Timur, we have our own values, you know. Kita nak gadaikan values tu ke tidak kerana kita nak cari duit yang banyak, ataupun kita nak cari duit banyak dalam masa yang sama kita tidak gadaikan. We do not have that killing factor of our values. So that is another issue. Dan this is, for example, humanistic and charismatic values yang kita perlu ada. Masih ada walaupun kita dah ada duit banyak dan sebagainya. So this is another quadrat yang kita boleh lihat. Now, if you based on that 4 quadrat yang saya dah sebutkan tadi, we've got 3 possibilities of the future. Satu ialah global academic autonomy. Okay, put together the wealth, kita nak kaya, tetapi quality of life dan values kita pegang. We also want financial sustainability because we want to have strong support. We want to have strong stream of income. Dan we also want to be leaders, global leaders. So that's one possible. Another one ialah kita nak jaga human values, dalam masa yang sama kita mewah. Kita satu peradaban yang baik, tetapi kita adalah negara yang kaya. For example, contoh macam Brunei Darussalam, for example, is a very rich country. You know, the leaders are very rich. Tetapi dia punya values questionable. Contohnya. So that we do not want to have that. Now, to have that human values and financial economic impact, the majority of the activities actually mesti datang daripada orang yang bijak. Bukan sembarangan orang. It has to be smart. So that's why saya guna education di sini. The first one, education as a tool untuk menjamin pendidikan ini membantu mensejahterakan manusia dan sejagat. Yang kedua ini, menjaga values, nilai ini memerlukan kebijaksanaan dan ilmu. Knowledge and brain. You know. Dan ada satu lagi, alternatives, yang kita kata asyik kena kontrol aja, tak boleh nak buat tu, tak boleh nak buat ni. Bermakna kita nak kawal sendiri, academic rules. Nah, we don't want to be controlled by ministry-led. We don't want to have bureaucracy. We don't want political. We don't want any control. And that is academic rule. So ada 3 possibility untuk UMK. Now, untuk education ni, ada saya senaraikan ni. Nah, as a tool. Teaching and learning, R&D, quality of life, semua ni saya senaraikan. I'm not going to go through a lot. Saya dah sebut here and there. Nah, nanti macam saya kata tadi, baca pelan-pelan nanti. If you cannot understand, let me know. Lifelong, semua ni. We talk about industrial linkages, a lot of collaboration. We talk about 4IR, you know. Semua in place. Ini semua akan dijadikan action plan untuk future. Another one, second alternatives, human values tadi. Tenureship becomes irrelevant. Ini yang saya maksudkan. Bila kita dah ada duit cukup, kita tak payah fikir nak pencen bila. Good ones should stay. Because we do not have to worry. So, yang utama ialah brain. Otak. Bijak dia. To stay, to survive. To make sure that university survive. Academic mobility, no institutional loyalty. Tak payah sayang university. Kalau ada peluang lebih baik, pergi. Dulu, masa kita bentangkan ini juga, KPT, dia terima sebenarnya. And you see that they implement it, Alhamdulillah. You can move, you tak payah terikat itulah, terikat inilah, ada perjanjian dah 21 years, saya 21 years. You know, tapi saya dah lepas lah masa saya mari ke UMK ni, perjanjian dah tamat. Jadi tak ada masalah. But to do that, that is all the things that we look into. Academic freedom and metrics reporting, no hierarchy. Tak payah risau siapa bos. You know, kalau tidak, tak boleh buat sebab bos nombor 2 tak tanda tangan lagi. Tak boleh buat bos nombor 3 tak tanda lagi. Tak tanda tangan, tak boleh proceed. You know, if you are smart, because saya cerita pasal brain, saya cerita pasal you have your ni. Yang jadi modal ialah bijaknya ahli akademik. You know, this is possible. Tapi they are all okay. They are all yang kita expect in the future. It's going to happen. Brain. Kita pupuk kebijaksanaan, intellectuality itu. Nah, this is very important. Now, yang ketiga itu, academic rule itu. Mohe should not be a regulator anymore. Dia enabler, yes. Dia tak boleh regulate, tell us what to do, this and that. Tadi kita dah kata kita ni orang smart banyak kat sini, orang bijak-bijak. Orang PhD pun ramai. Tapi kita kena cucuk hidung. So, but this alternative ataupun this future is quite too close to impossible at the moment. But you never know in the future. Kalau aggressively kita pursue the first 2 alternative, dia akan nampak. At the moment, it is quite tough. Sebab itu saya kata, the whole academic rule punya konsep ni ialah we are making KPT ni irrelevant at the moment. Kita kata tak perlulah. Kita boleh, you know, tapi implikasi dia kita tidak dapat funding daripada government. Because dia akan kata, selagi you dapat duit daripada kami, kau kena ikut kami. I heard that many times. Macam mak kita lah, selagi kau duduk dengan aku di bawah bumbung rumah aku, kau ikut cakap mak. Kalau tidak, kau keluar. Kalau kau nak buat kerja sendiri, kalau kau nak buat hal sendiri. Same concept lah. So tetapi untuk masa depan, it would be good sebenarnya to be out command and control by the. Kita nak letak fee kita berapa pun kita tak ada masalah. Tapi sebab sekarang ni fee KPT kawal. Kita nak letak lebih, tak boleh dia kata. Kita hanya letak 1,500 cap kan. Ada disebut oleh PMX pun. Itu aja. Berapa minit lagi? Okay, I'll go fast. Tak ada dah. Okay, tapi ada challenges. Okay, there are a lot of challenges. I'll go to the last slide. This is the current one and these are the future yang kita kena fikirlah bersama. Okay, let me skip that. Tapi yang penting di UMK, the biggest challenge and toughest is actually leadership. Considering we are a young university, orang pun tak ramai, nak cari pemimpin yang bagus pun bukan senang. You know, this is a challenge. And it's all bound to see that you need to do something, talent management. Work closely with AKAB. I think AKAB is coming close to UMK after this. Okay, leadership. Saya bagi cerita pasal leadership and so on. We can discuss in a different forum. Most important leadership yang kita perlu in the future ialah people's leader. People first. Makna dia tidak boleh dah dictate. Dia tak boleh ikut telunjuk KPT and then try to implement it at our place. You may follow KPT, tetapi kita try to mold so that kita be more people-centric. People-centric means empathy, altruistic, embrace change, mentor, welcome different views, celebrate diversity and collective decision making. So, saya ada bagi sini, nanti baca. Now, we need university management transformation. Walaupun dah ada guidelines, saya tunjuk buku tu, tetapi there are things that we still need to do at UMK based on some of the ideas yang saya letak di sini. Now, what is this? Creating responsive university, creating cadre. Makna dia pelapis. Kita sekarang, to be frank with you, do not have pelapis. Di UMK tidak ada pelapis. Who is going to be the next VC? Who is going to be the next TNC? Who's going to be the next dean? Who's going to be the next registrar? Kita tak ada pelapis. Bila kita tak ada pelapis, kita do a lot of funny things. You know? Because the post must be filled. So we do not have that. You know, what are good effective leaders seperti yang dinyatakan di sini. In the Reshaping University Leadership for the 21st Century, February, ini conference baru yang telah buat resolution that the 21st century universities leaders must be able to recruit and retain good students preparing for employment. Again, bagi dia prepare employment in the global marketplace. Nurture quality faculty, sound finance and sustainable campus, and create vision to inspire the loyalty and generosity of alumni for years to come. Alright, saya juga cerita pasal chairman of the board, Idawani. I think this is also a big problem in UMK. Saya dasarkan kepada dokumen, saya tak dasarkan kepada pengalaman. Sebelum ni ada pengalaman, we still have problem, but the latest information seperti daripada dokumen autonomi itu, I think it has got to be looked into. Now, the university board should not be established for ceremonial function. Dia tak boleh hanya untuk tujuan seremoni. Dia kena contribute. You know, ada tanggungjawab yang mesti ditetapkan. Dan they are the people who's actually supposed to help us. Now, setelah melihat, mengkaji dan membandingkan past, present and the future, this education as tool for prosperity and brain knowledge ini may be sesuai untuk UMK. Makna dia kita kena hargai ilmu dan kesarjanaan, dan pendidikan yang kita beri inilah yang menjamin kesejahteraan sejagat nanti, sejagat global. Okey, gunakanlah direction ini untuk chart your strategic planning. Jadi makna curriculum segalanya mesti berkisar seperti ini. Dengan ini barulah kita boleh dapat talent yang teachers, researcher, budget, freedom, autonomy and leadership. Sebab kalau guna otak ni lancarlah sikit, bukan guna kepala lutut. Okay. Alright. So, okay, I'll skip that because itu saya dah, ini summary. Finally, so this is the translation. What UMK should look like 2030 is something like this. This is the whole sort of UMK. Education as a tool for future prosperity, brain and scholarship. Scholarship tu bukan beasiswa, kesarjanaan. Nah, this is what we are. Kalau kita boleh describe in one word, two words, you know, these are the words kita akan guna. Entrepreneurial, renowned, innovative, international renowned, entrepreneurial university, governance and leadership, entrepreneurial governance and leadership, referral university in entrepreneurship education, well-equipped facilities, infra on campus, university, township. You know, we want to see a township on campus which reflects entrepreneurship, which becomes a model for entrepreneurship ecosystem. And last but not least, a community. Kita bertanggungjawab kepada masyarakat. So this is what it looks like. And at the side ni, tepi ni saya cerita pasal entrepreneurial ecosystem, saya cerita pasal academics, dan saya cerita pasal impactful research. But a whole lot is about digital technology revolution dan financial yang disupport oleh human resource and manpower, which is the concept of academic excellence. Academic excellence di situ saya merujuk kepada talent pool daripada local and abroad because it is criteria in the rank. Effective human resource management and also quality student and functional graduates. The other definition for functional graduates, please try to look for that one. Entrepreneurial attributes, makna dia graduate ni entrepreneurial attribute, begitu juga dengan staff. At the same time, quality academics and research leaders. Reputable, renowned, business acumen. Walaupun tadi acumen saya pertikaikan because we do not need to have that skill because duit banyak. Cuma smart, guna smart aja, kena guna smart. Tapi kita selalu kata tak cukup because kita tak smart menggunakannya. So that is conclusion. Now I will conclude. The key proposition that I have for UMK ialah the prerequisite for the future for UMK is you need good leaders and good governance system. Good leaders. Makna dia for the future kena start train sekarang lah good leaders. You know, you must turn people, into good leaders. You know, we used to start, for example, Little Bakat Center, which is a reflection, should be a reflection of AKAP, supaya AKAP tak payahlah nak datang ke sini. Tapi it failed, dia gagal. Because people do not see it serious. The role of education, internationalization is no longer about quantity but quality. The future of UMK is uncertain, but great opportunity to ada to transform it. Okay? And last but not least, academic excellence and quality is paramount. And the rest itu, saya ingat, business unusual will never stop and should not stop. You cannot think differently all the time to make differences. Do a lot more with what we currently have. When we started, saya kata, do more with less. But masa tu memang less. Tapi sekarang ni, saya rasa kita dah ada benda kan. So, do a lot more with what we currently have. Sepatutnya kita dah boleh buat lebih banyak lagi. Tinggal lagi. The future, sebab the future dah start dah. The future is actually, dia start di sini. In fact, The future is here. This is the future. Saya dulu 17 years ago, I was saying the future will be ni. Now this is the future. The future dah start ni. But it's just not evenly distributed or emphasized. Ada yang tak serious macam income generation. It is the future, definitely. You will face that. Tetapi if you don't distribute it well and if you don't give serious thinking about it, you can never find the future for that particular people who are going to live in that future. Okay? So begitu saja yang saya nak kongsi. I hope I have made myself clear with what I wanted to say for the last 4 years actually. Alhamdulillah, kena sabar, sabar dengan saya. Saya nak ambil kesempatan untuk minta maaf banyak kalau ada kesilapan. I am not saying that you have to agree with me. This is a hypothetical situation for the future, but nevertheless there are ways and means that you can do. Macam saya kata tadi, ini jadikan sebagai landasan untuk tindakan. Landasan untuk tindakan. You look at your strategic planning. Sebab tu saya tak sentuh strategic planning. Because strategic planning can go together with your future studies. Where possible, if that is a plan that is been looked into, put in. Macam income generation, I'm sure it is in the strategic planning. But how you do it? What are the things to be done? How serious do you do it? What are the vehicles to do it? Tu kena fikirkan bersama dan do it. Last but not least, 2 weeks lagi kita tahun baru. Saya nak ambil kesempatan ini untuk ucap selamat tahun baru 2024. Masa berlalu dengan sangat cepat, you know. It's so fast. Makna 2024, 5 tahun dah saya pencen. I do not know how much longer I will survive. Tetapi harap to see UMK grow. You know, UMK ni emotion sikit lah kalau bercerita pasal UMK ni. Saya ni pun walaupun dah 5 years now, kalau bercerita buruk pasal UMK nak marah jugalah. Walaupun jumpa kawan-kawan yang kata apa UMK gitu gini, kata you tak tahu, you don't diam. You know, I know well about what is UMK. And I used to say to Prof Hashita, I do not know whether you know Prof Hashita, the new pengarah of AKAB. Saya kata, Prof, you don't have to tipu, you don't have to cerita apa-apa pasal UMK. Every dirt about the UMK itu saya tahu. I know every little dirt bawah. Walaupun sekarang ini maklumat is mudah dapat. Walaupun saya tak datang every day UMK, ada saja cerita yang setengah pasal UMK, sama ada daripada manusia ataupun daripada bukan manusia. So, you know, tak boleh sembunyi. So that's why I use all those simple information to put it together, and I hope that the best of luck, insyaAllah, things will be good for all of us and for many more years to come, insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Majlis merakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr Haji Ibrahim bin Che Omar di atas penyampaian bicara akademia beliau sebentar tadi. Hadirin sekalian, sekarang kita akan memberikan peluang kepada semua untuk berinteraksi dengan Yang Berbahagia Prof. Untuk itu, kepada sesiapa yang ingin mengajukan sebarang soalan, boleh berbuat demikian.
Okey. Ya, silakan. Nak pakai mic? Mari.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tak tahu nak kata. Lama dah dengan Datuk lah. So kalau di fasa tu, saya tutor yang pertama.
Ya. Ya.
Emotional sikit.
Nostalgic.
Jadi tak nak cerita banyak sebab kita nak more on engagement kan. Ambil ada 2 persoalan lah. Yang bila tengok slide Datuk lah. satu on future punya thinking ataupun future punya anticipation.
Yeah.
And another on autonomy. So the first question is on education. Sebab I was in Brunei for 9 months sabbatical. One of the directive from the government lah, the ministry was for the higher education to relook the time duration untuk degree. And saya sempat di sana, one of the university, they didn't know how to do. Jadi I went there and somehow tak tahu macam mana, I've helped, assisted, managed them to develop program 3 tahun lah. Looking at this trend, I mean, bila kita buat looking at the in terms of structure, education structure, so on, I also notice kita, I mean, currently education system kita were based on industrial revolution. Education was developed to fit in.
Exactly.
So currently, you notice that universities macam James Cook dah ada degree 2 tahun for aquaculture punya program. What should we anticipate? I mean, Malaysia punya scenario. I know Malaysia one time kita ada 3 years punya degree program, now it becomes 4 years. And now ada talking going back to 3 years. So how do you anticipate in terms of kita nak identify what is relevant for the future? Previously macam saya kata, we based on education nak fit in. Should it be more broad? Saya suka yang Datuk highlight tu, develop student ni yang ada attributes. I mean they want to come because of the attributes. I think that is a very good component lah. How do you see education ni punya evolution? I mean for UMK, sebab do we start the ball rolling ataupun kita tunggu orang lain to start? So that's number one. And the second is on autonomy. I mean to some extent, I mean I came to UMK. One of the reason was macam interested was the entrepreneurship punya concept. That's why I applied. Kemudian at that time patutnya saya was supposed to be doing masters somewhere else, tapi dapat UMK panggil, saya datang because of the entrepreneurship punya that was very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But how do you see the effect of autonomy? To me, without autonomy, I think the entrepreneurship punya agenda tu cannot go.
Sure.
Even though kita ada autonomy, but somehow we don't feel that autonomy tu macam tak sincere, not sincere. Kita pun tadi tak berani untuk proceed. I mean, I remember one time kita pun propose, sebab because UNKBV was not functioning that so well, kita propose another company kan, but in the end they passed to the board UNKBV pun tak buat. So we are lost in the translation that process. So how sebab majority sini I think tak ada yang senior sangat. Banyak I think muda belaka.
Kecuali saya.
I mean should there be macam a third force kind of thing yang to push the agenda forward, especially on entrepreneurship, because I notice right now entrepreneurship is based on top down rather than develop from yang bawah lah.
Exactly.
So kalau Datuk boleh comment, maybe some advice. Thank you.
The first question and on duration tu. Saya for the future, my thinking is kita tak payah worry pasal graduate employability. One, kita tak payah ikut rentak, we ikut industry. Even our training pun kita ikut what industry says. Itu sebab kita jadi 4 tahun and then bila industry comment lambat, so we reduce to 3 years. Bila kita reduce to 3 years, industry juga yang kata tak cukup ilmu, pergi interview tak cukup tu, tak cukup ni, kita tukar balik ke 4 years. But it is not, the thing is we academic should decide whether our student is adequate enough. Itu sebab saya tanya, how can you tell a student itu ada that quality ke tidak tadi? Because if you can tell that, you can bring that student forward even after 2 years, but it doesn't matter. But you must make sure that you are sufficiently enough, sufficient lagi, enough lagi, that you put student capable of becoming a global citizen tadi. Tapi kalau you train 6 years sekalipun, kalau duk bengap, nak cerita, nak cakap pun tak boleh, no point. You understand? It's not about duration. It's about what is the training that you have created to the student. Itu yang penting. Your curriculum must speaks that you are able to transform the student. Sebab itu saya lebih minat pensyarah di UMK ni dikenali sebagai entrepreneurial educators. Rather than just ordinary lecturer. Entrepreneurial educators, they do think differently because they want to have different kind of student. If you think that with that duration, katalah 2 tahun setengah, you boleh train, I think 2 tahun setengah enough dengan keadaan financial constraint yang besar ini. Because student needs to have funding, to stay long enough in the university. Sebab itu, in the future, I should think that work on the curriculum. Work on the curriculum to train the student that you want for the future. Without having in mind that, alah, ni nanti tak dapat kerja, ni nanti sudah nak cari kerja. Because it should be the way forward is do not worry about graduate employability to me. Do not worry. Pandai-pandailah dengan ilmu dan pengetahuan yang mereka ada dan kekuatan brain yang saya kata alternatif tadi. They put themselves in the position to be hired or fired. So it is not an issue. Tapi kalau tak cukup, katalah 3 tahun tak cukup nak diberikan sebab setengah program tu dia ada requirement. So kita tak boleh nak kata completely 2.5 years boleh buat. Dia ada requirement macam engineering mengikut board of engineers kena ikut, ada curriculum medicals for example and so on, vet kena ikut. So the most they can do ialah jangan ambil kira latihan itu sebagai part of the curriculum. Itu dah graduate baru dia go for apprenticeship and internship for example. So then you reduce. But the thing is, it is not about whether you have a longer duration or a shorter duration, but you must make sure that what is provided for the student must be adequate to transform that particular student. And if you think that you are satisfied with it, by all means, I would go for a shorter period sebab dia mengurangkan bebanan-bebanan lain banyak lagi. Tapi jangan fikir kerana pendeknya masa itu kita jalan pintas untuk student tu, dia banyak kekurangan, pergi interview nak cakap itu tak boleh, ni tak boleh, then it's a failure as well. The second one ialah pasal autonomy. Yes, saya jadi pengerusi autonomy and I want autonomy and I want to speak out pasal autonomy, tetapi sebab people are not serious about autonomy. Bila ditanya pun nobody can answer. You can ask KPT for example. Ni saya ni kena tangkap nanti ni cerita pasal KPT all the time ni. Tapi tak apa, menteri baru because dia bagi kita autonomi. Ada majlis menyerahkan autonomi, tetapi how far have we allowed to do this autonomy business? Kalau yuran pun kita tak boleh decide, that is not autonomy. Because sometimes we know apakah keperluan di Kelantan dengan di Kuala Lumpur. Saya tak pelik kalau di Kuala Lumpur yuran lebih tinggi daripada Kota Baru. It is a pushing factor for people to come to Kota Baru as well actually. Kalau dia murah daripada Kuala Lumpur, benda yang sama, akademik yang sama. You get quality equal education tetapi lebih murah kerana geographical reason. They will come. Ni kalau dah sama mahal, lebih baik duduk Kuala Lumpur daripada duduk sini. So these are the things I know the predicament that we have now as far as autonomy is concerned. I would like to see autonomous situation. Autonomy ni very sensitive. Saya bercerita pasal autonomi ni, awak ingatlah kan. Saya nak autonomi untuk kampus jeli pun bergaduh bagai nak remember that, Marina? Autonomous means kita ada kuasa to do things easily. Bukan kita nak goes against rules and regulation yang ditetap tu tetap, tetapi kita nak dengan cepat, dengan mudah, dengan lebih berkesan. So entrepreneurial punya cerita ni, entrepreneurship ni. Without autonomy tak usah cerita lah. Kalau nak kena ikut garis panduan yang simple garis panduan. It's not complicated. It's very simple yang they develop itu. Tetapi yang kita expect being an entrepreneur university has to be more than that, because universiti lain pun ikut garis panduan itu juga. By right kita ni jadi leader in entrepreneurship where people will come nak cari simple things like you are a chemist, for example. Your first question should be, I am a chemist and I'm an entrepreneurial university. How do I teach chemistry secara entrepreneurially? How do I make chemistry as one of entrepreneurial related subject? Ini kita ngajar chemistry, for example, macam chemistry biasa juga, seperti diajar di UKM, seperti diajar di UM. Bukanlah saya nak kata definition of solution tu lain daripada apa. No, but kita punya education tu lain. Cara pendekatan kita memperkenalkan atom, for example, differently. Supaya juga dengan kalau universiti ini Islamic in nature, kita perkenalkan embryology, for example. Kita tak cerita pasal haiwan sahaja, kita cerita pasal kekuasaan Allah, something like that. So it has to have some focus and must be allowed. Tetapi kalau duk cerita seperti biasa, it is no different. Dan kalau autonomi ini tidak diberi perhatian dan tidak diberi emphasis, dia akan hanya tinggal you have the autonomy to forget about autonomy. That's I call it fear to change tadi yang saya kata tu. Future tu yang fear for change tadi, dia takut beban dia meningkat. Sure, tak dia dapat dilarikan. Dia gini, kita yang Madinah maksudkan kita dah dibenarkan. Tapi kita takut nak buat nanti kalau kita dibenarkan, kita tak buat, kita bermasalah. Kita nak buat, beban bertambah. Kerja kita complicated. We have got to do a lot more things, when we say autonomy. We cannot just do business as usual. It has to be unusual. Baru autonomy. That's what saya kata tadi. The prerequisite adalah talents and leadership. You have to ask semua tu dalam planning, strategic planning tu, tanyalah soalan tu. Ada orang ke nak buat? Ada benda ke nak buat? Ada facility ke nak buat? Kalau tak ada, that means the first priority has to be given to that lah. Cari orangnya, adakan bendanya, barulah boleh buat. Ketidak tak boleh buat. Cakap je lah nanti. Okay?
Tapi push factor tu penting lah, Prof. Kalau tak, orang akan duduk di takut lama je lah. Faham tak, Prof?
Ya,
yang
faham.
Saya nampak macam tu. Bila Prof kata easy to get the income kan. Prof kata, tapi saya rasa bila Prof tak ada, susahnya nak survive. Faham tak?
Saya faham, tapi nak komen tak reti dah kadang. But I know it is possible to do, but you need that strength, that energy to do it. Saya berkeyakinan, tapi with a lot of hard work lah. Kalaupun anak buah kita ni yang muda tak boleh buat, tapi if you have a good leader who can run the show, mereka akan buat, mereka akan bantu, like how we started UMK. You ingat bukan pasal income generation, pasal nak start university tu. Siapa yang ada, yang tak ada, master pun tak ada. UMK was started with people who are just first degree saja. Academic, nak create academic ruling program semua tu. Tetapi because we have to do it, we are serious about it, and we have someone to push us around, we did it. And it's similar case. given the autonomy, I believe kita can turn entrepreneurship upside down. In a positive way, bukan turn upside down. Tunggang langgang punya cerita. Alright, any more question? Last question.
Datuk.
At UMK is actually the move of our experience, our commitment academics to the other universities or institutions. So like we have lost like quite few numbers of good lecturers. Like if Datuk still remember Dr. Soon, we also lost. Yeah, we also
Shaza.
lost Shaza. Yes, Shaza moved to UiTM, and quite. And we at the faculty at the moment are facing a lot of problems regarding the teaching and learning, because we need those people to help us, especially for food security, Dr. Sun kan. So apa komen Datuk ataupun apa pandangan Datuk, because this is might be really subjective. This is definitely your own point of view. Macam mana kita nak jaga function kita sebagai pentadbir akademik dan juga kawan-kawan kita yang daripada admin, governance kat sini, untuk kita kontrol benda ni ataupun kita jaga staff kita, so that we don't have any other problems to educate, or kita nak bagi lagi knowledge lain untuk lecturer baru. That macam menyusahkan jugalah kan, in terms of kita nak ajar balik untuk buat program macam tu. So apa komen Datuk?
Dia dalam bakat management, talent management. I also did research on talent management. You know, dalam talent management, they don't talk about individuals. They talk about the whole cohort. The whole cohort. Makna dia, kalau kita bagi kepada satu kumpulan itu, kalau seorang tinggalkan kita, kita tak ada masalah. You don't give focus to individual, dia je. Makna dia, our talent management is a relatively universal in nature. So itu yang kena ada. First thing, bakat tu ada ke di UMK ni, center for bakat tu? Ada. Ialah bawah pendaftar. No, it's not right to me. Memang human HR tu human, tetapi it has to be a separate entity with strong professors experienced professor to take care. Bukan pentadbir to take care of it. It is a strong professor who can foresee expansion dari segi kemahiran and skill, of these people, and a very structured, organized training for a cohort of people. Because you need a pool to select. You cannot, so kita panggil pool, talent pool. Kita tak kata talent saja. Kita kata satu reservoir, satu kolam of people. Seorang pergi, tak apa. Dua, jangan semua pergilah makna dia. Seorang dua pergi, masih kita boleh pertahan. Tapi kalau kita tak buat that cohort kind of cerita, itulah yang jadi itu bila Dr. Sun pergi, Dr. Saza pergi, makin yang tak ada dah. This is also something which it has to be done differently to train people. If you ask saya punya opinion, bakat is essential. It is the prerequisite. Talent ini adalah prerequisite untuk banyak lagi benda-benda lain. Academic research. You need academic leaders. You need research leaders. You cannot compromise good people. Sebab tu saya kata the right people for the right job. Sekarang ni kita terpaksa bagi orang yang tak reti pun buat kerja tu. Dan belajarlah kandian. Then we got no replacement. Kalau dia tak nak cari pula satu cerita yang besar. We cannot be training seorang and leave seorang. You have to understand the role of that center, bakat itu ialah to train a pool of people, in certain nak cari VC pun, AKAB dah cakap kita akan identify a pool of candidates to be trained untuk jadi VC. And nak jadi TNC pun begitu juga. Nak jadi pendaftar pun begitu juga. And that is the way forward, you know, for looking at people to lead the university in all areas.
Dato', sebab thank you. My name is Tan Fadi FTKW.
Okay.
Tadi Dato' mention more on top management side ataupun level up punya lah.
Yeah.
I like to get some opinion daripada Dato'. What is the attribute ataupun what should we do as a downside punya staff ataupun how do we start towards autonomous ataupun entrepreneurship punya ni dari bottom up lah. What should we have?
Bagi saya lah, macam saya kata tadi, leaders tu dia tidak merujuk kepada top management aja. It's actually us. You start, tapi tadilah dengan izin jugalah. You cannot do something which is melanggar yang ditetapkan oleh universiti. Itu yang kita kata autonomy. We talk about autonomy so that there are certain things that we are allowed to do. So entrepreneurship, for example. Saya ingat tak salah kalau if you are creative enough, you know, to do something different. Katalah in teaching and learning. You ngajar lain daripada orang lain, umpamanya. You know, with your model, with your interaction, with your tools, digital tools. It is no harm. Those are actually entrepreneurial in a way. Tetapi it's no harm. That is teaching and learning. Kalau dalam research pun, do good research. Do innovative research which will solve problems, for example. Because we know research yang kita cerita dalam, saya cerita tadi, ialah a research which allow us to provide solutions to a lot of problems, kan? So if you can do good research, we will create problem solving, you'll find that dia akan memberi impact yang besar kepada university and you will be looked at. So it is not about expecting the VCs and the TNCs and the deans to do it alone. It is also inevitable for staff, all of us, because we are the determinant sebenarnya. Kalau tapi tadilah staff bawahan ni macam kita ni, kita perlu some kind of pushing factor, you know, kena ditolak. Kalaupun our leaders are not creative enough, not innovative enough, tapi kalau dia seorang yang boleh memberi that pushing factor pun dah cukup dah sebenarnya. But on your part, jangan berhenti on the staff, bukan in the top management and the management side. Boleh buat, tak ada salahnya. Jangan pula kita ada leaders yang bila nampak staff itu lebih macam nak lawan tokek pula ke. Those are the things that are, you know, coming along with it. Tapi bagi saya, Dr. T, do not stop. Buat apa yang you think relevant to you and be innovative about it. It is okay. Bagi pendapat saya rasa kita kena buat. In fact, we are asked and encouraged to do it. Make difference out of yourself. Kalau semua pakat-pakat buat ni, you'll find that it is giving impact. Kalau seorang, dua orang, tak ada sangat lah. Tapi kalau kita seia sekata, sebab itu saya talk about reward system. I want reward system yang lebih tangible, yang lebih jelas, you know, for people who have different kind of thinking ni. Tapi kalau kita nak appreciate our staff pun kita tak mahu, mereka tak rasa dihargai, you know, lemahlah sikitnya, you know. And worst scenario masa saya masih bekerja dulu, we created anugerah gemilang. Anugerah gemilang itu adalah untuk semua bidang, semua yang menunjuk kelainan dalam sumbangan mereka. So we reward, so that bagi insentif as many as possible. Dia tidak macam APC. Dia boleh dapat every year, everything you do, every apa-apa yang you buat. Cemerlang, bagi. Bagus, bagi. You feel honoured, you feel appreciated. That's about all. Tapi kesimpulannya, buat. Jangan tunggu ketua cakap baru nak buat. Dia tak boleh macam tu. You cannot do that. We won't allow. I think kalau leaders pun dia nak cakap pun dia kena cakap macam tu. Buatlah. Saya akan cuba sokong sebanyak mungkin. Something like that. So that you will be more, mobile nak buat. Tak ada masalah. Okay? Alright. Ada lagi?
Okay, saya kira kita tutup untuk sesi soalan. Tak ada kan? Okay, alright. Baiklah, terima kasih Profesor Dato bagi mengenang budi yang dihulur, bagi membalas jasa ditabur. Majlis dengan sukacitanya menjemput yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Muhammad Najmi bin Masri, Pengarah Pusat Kecemerlangan dan Pembangunan Akademik untuk menyampaikan cenderamata kenang-kenangan kepada yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr. Haji Ibrahim Che Omar, Fellow Akademik Sains Malaysia dan Fellow Kanan Majlis Profesor Negara. Majlis dengan hormatnya mempersilakan. Terima kasih Profesor Madya Dr. Najmi. Seterusnya dijemput kepada para hadirin untuk sama-sama mengambil tempat bagi menyempurnakan acara bergambar beramai-ramai. Sesi foto pertama akan diadakan di dalam auditorium, manakala sesi kedua yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Dato Dr. Haji Ibrahim bin Che Omar dijemput bersama-sama barisan pengurusan tertinggi serta sekretariat program di pintu masuk Pejabat Perpustakaan.